All right. All right, guys. We should be live. What's going on, everyone? How's everyone doing? How's everyone doing? How's it going, guys? GTX 2080. Yeah, looking for a GTX 2080, 2070. There's a lot of video cards that actually leaked out ahead of this. So there's a lot of stuff we're actually expecting here. So let's get excited for this. This should be fun. Let me see the well, school started today. Oh, okay, cool. Let me see if I can figure out what's going on with the chat. We should get chat showing up here at some point. This is the hope anyway. We still have like half an hour before it's time to roll. So still got a little bit of time left. A half an hour, but yeah, we were just gonna go live early. I figured, like, I was gonna go live like 10 minutes before, but I figure we'll go live a bit early. So we'll see. We're expecting video cards like GT, or I think they're calling it the RTX now, since that's what they're calling their what you call it now. Their workstation cards are RTX. So we should see some very expensive video cards here in front of us. Yes. Yeah, hopefully the stream doesn't crash. I'm not a big fan of streaming because the software for streaming is just so annoying. Streaming software has a while to go. We have a ways to go with streaming software. I'll just say that. Yeah. I could find something to put down there for the card down there. Put I talked about the 4K Switch thing this morning. I talked about all of that. Yeah, I saw the Nvidia stuff. I'll be talking about that as well at some point in a video. But yeah, no, I saw the whole deleted tweet thing. I talked about it earlier in Newswave this morning. It was pretty funny to see because it's I don't think I'd be shocked if that was an early 2019 thing. That would very much so surprise me. Maybe I could put an Nvidia logo down here or something so people know what we're doing. And try to drop that in here and kind of play around with it on the chat while we're waiting. Let's see. Might be able to fit this Nvidia logo actually right down there at the bottom. Let's see if we can make that work. Oh, look, the chat decided to finally populate. Look at it go. That's what I mean. The streaming software is like, it's so bad. They have such a ways to go with streaming software. I can't believe it's as bad as it is for like how popular streaming is. You figure it would be better by now. But I've never been a fan. Me and streaming don't really get along too well. Okay, there we go. So got a little Nvidia thing down there now, which is cool. So we're good on that. What's going on? It is. We've been waiting for new Nvidia cards for almost 2 years, I think now. It's been a little while. Yeah, no, Windjammers 2, I'm excited for that. That actually caught me by surprise when I saw Windjammers 2 get announced. That was surprising. I did not expect that. Did you see this? Did you guys see the screenshots for it? It's like hand drawn, so it's like hand drawn. What you call it? Hand drawn sprites and everything. It looks awesome. Health potion with the 8-bit Do controller, I believe was L. So it's just the left bumper on it. But it worked fine when I was using it, so I was alright with it. Yeah. We'll see. We should get new video cards. Hopefully more than just... Hopefully they don't just show up with a $700 2080, but they show up with like a 2060 and a 2070. But the good news is, because of that, people are going to start selling off their 1080s. Pretty cheap. 1070s too. And those are both still very good cards. So I would look into that even. I mean, think about that. A 1080 and a 1070 will probably drop to... you'll probably see them drop to like... And what can you get a 1080 now for used? Like 350 to 400? Maybe you'll see those drop to like 300. Yeah, Morphe's Law is out today, right? Well, it's later on tonight. They did email me about that actually ahead of time, so that was cool. Just to see if just see if I wanted to check it out. And I do. I want to check that out. See what it's all about. Yeah, so actually right now I'm waiting on... Yeah, right now I'm actually waiting on a Morphe's Law code. They'll actually probably be sending that out in like the next hour, within the hour. Probably by the time this stream is over, I'll probably be getting the Morphe's Law thing, and I'll probably get it together, get a video, and you guys can see what it's like. Hopefully before it comes out, so you can decide if that's something you want to buy or not. The 2070 is rumored to be about $4-ish $100. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see if that's a thing. Wasted money with the $1.99. Keep up all the good work for the community. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yep. I will keep up the work. Don't worry about that. Let me make sure this is... I have the little donations thing. Let me reset the cache for that to make sure it... There it goes. There it goes. All right. I think the super chats just take longer. I don't know. The Nintendo UK Direct was better than I thought it was going to be. Yeah, the Nindies one. Keep in mind, though, they had to get the Nindies out of the way because they have a full Direct coming a week and a half from now. You should see one. So a lot of us are thinking either the last few days of August or the first week of September is when you'll see a full Direct. But they dropped that Nindies one on us kind of out of nowhere, right? I know some people there was a rumor for it that came out, but that rumor came out like 2 hours before it showed up, right? So I can get this microphone a little closer. Yeah, there is a Quattro. There is a Quattro card they already introduced, RTX Quattro card. That's for like workstations and everything. It's not really something a consumer's going to use because it's thousands and thousands of dollars, but we're hoping the 2070 is about $400. If that is the case, that is probably going to be the best like price to performance card. Because like the 1080 and stuff, they're great cards, but they do tend to be priced a little more for price to performance than something like a 1070. Yeah, the new Quattro was already announced last week. I talked about that and said that you want to watch this because this is clearly, if the hashtag doesn't give it away, for gamers. The Quattro is not for gamers. 1080, I think, are usually online. I keep seeing them pop up now for deals for like $480, and that comes with like a game now. So I'm thinking you're going to see the 1080 drop to like $350. That's actually not a terrible deal for it right now. 1080 Ti even. You might even be able to get cheaper. You might find them on Craigslist. People might be dropping them heavy on Craigslist. Seriously, you might have like people just getting rid of them. That's what a lot of people do usually, especially if they stay on the cutting edge. They'll just like flip. They'll just like flip their old cards quick. So I would always find like, I remember I got my GTX 970 that I had a while ago. I had light. I thought the webcam picked stuff up weird. I'm used to like I should have hooked up my cam link so I had a better camera setup, but I just have a light over there and I guess I don't need it. I could turn it off, then it won't be as bright. But this webcam is just picking up so much light for some reason. I could, I guess, turn that off and see how it looks, but yeah, the 1070 is about 65% faster than the 970. Yeah, GDDR6 is going to be one of the bigger things that they do here. We're going to see, the biggest thing it's going to come down to is the reviews that come out, but according to some leaks, you'll actually be able to pre-order those cards starting today. And I have a feeling they're going to have review samples at this presentation for some people to check out. So you could see some impressions and some possibly some benchmarks today, which would be cool. That would be cool. I don't know. It would be weird to have a TI so early, but all the TI is pretty much a refinement / upgraded version of their big card or regular card. So you get like a 1050 and a 1050 Ti, and those are pretty close to each other. Usually they use a Ti so that they can release the card again, essentially. Like they'll release a 1080 and then, like 10 to 12 months later they'll release a Ti. Although that 1080 Ti I think took longer to come out than normal. So, but like we're getting to the point now where you could probably they'll probably have like a 2050, right? And that'll have completely conquered 1080p gaming at that point. So it'll be so easy to get into gaming if you just want to do 1080, 1080p now. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, we still got like 20 minutes before then. I guess I don't need that light. I think it's the white light mixed with the yellow light that does that, or the webcam just doesn't pick up white light very well. Yeah, I keep hearing that the 2070 is probably going to be like a 1080 essentially, which will be good. If that comes out, it has GDDR6 memory. It's $400. That's gonna be a steal. And mining has kind of calmed down now, which is good. So I feel like we're not going to get hit with those ridiculous prices. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think we're going to get hit with those crazy prices. So Nvidia laptop's good for work. Depends what kind of work you're doing. If you're just doing office work, you could probably just get away with an HD or integrated graphics from Intel, to be honest. Just wanted to say hi from Miguel. Thank you, Miguel. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Thank you for $2. You think they'll do Doom Eternal with them? That'd be cool. I would like that if they did Doom Eternal. They'll probably pick out some really, really tough to play game. Although Doom Eternal, they'll probably get ridiculous frame rate out of that game, though, with the new cards. But usually they pick out some hard to play game and then go crazy.
Hello, welcome to Germany. I'm
well, that was
Julian.
early.
And I'm Shannon.
Now, many of you who watch GeForce's content regularly know us pretty well, probably by this point, but I'm sure there's a ton of you who don't know who we are. So before we launch into all the festivities of today and what we're looking forward to and what we're kind of expecting, let's just introduce ourselves. I'm Julian Huguet. I've been working for Nvidia for a few years now. I go to pretty much all the events, E3,
a lot
Gamescom,
earlier than I thought they'd go live.
Talking to game devs, looking at tech, and just
all the things.
Just being a big old nerd. And Shannon, you?
I kind of like that nerd life, though. Hashtag nerd life.
I
do hacker shows on the internet, information security and privacy and all
no,
those cool
they're not going to do anything
internet
Switch
freedom,
here. This is going to be all video cards.
On the Star Trek Bridge Crew show.
We did. We met on the Aegis.
I might have died because I was a red shirt.
She did, in fact, die.
But it's okay. I came back.
Did not power up the shields in time. But it's good to see that you've gotten better since you've died.
Yes, I feel great.
Welcome to Gamescom. This is your first time here.
It's my first time in Germany.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is awesome.
So you have no idea what to expect.
I have no clue.
Okay, well, you know, each time
I come Super to Chris with $10 said, might as well start the donations. Oh, people already started before I finished. Thanks, Super Chris. Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Today should be a lot more of that, a lot more to love.
I guess
if you guys haven't seen what's going on here yet, all that's really been let go so far is just a little, just a sousson of a teaser for people to watch at home.
Give us a little.
If you haven't seen it, check this out because it'll get you pumped.
Little preview, double check the volume and everything. How's the volume sound with them against my microphone, guys? Let me know. Oh man, they're teasing those. Look at that, teasing those video cards hard right now, man. Yeah, this is the teaser we saw earlier. It was actually a good teaser though. This is like a good little trailer they did. There goes the, I wonder if that song gets copyright claim. I don't know. There's a lot of prices getting thrown around. It depends on how many cards they're going to announce here. They could just announce one. They could just show the 2080.
I'm pretty pumped.
They could show 2060, 2070, 2080.
If Sam and Dave's Hold On I'm Coming doesn't get you hyped,
seems to be around 250 to 300.
It's weapon grade hype. He's so infectious.
That's probably the bottom end right now.
But he's escaped. This is Swifty. Swifty, welcome to Germany.
What's up? It's awesome to be here, guys. I'm super excited, super pumped, super excited to see what this announcement is.
Have you been to these Nvidia events before?
The big thing is that the older cards and what they'll drop too, price-wise.
The release, or the announcement, and that was all hype. And right now, I think we have like 50,000 people watching.
Oh, 50,000!
I'm nervous right now.
That's
I've never
Studios.
been on
That's
a
an
live stream with
interesting
that many
thing.
people
So.
on.
I've never heard of that.
You said you heard the
Last time I checked before I
2050
got
and the
up here, I was like,
2060
whoa, 53,000.
with branded
Really wish you hadn't
GTX,
said that number. Now
and
I'm
the
a lot more
2070 and
nervous. So
2080 with
thank you for
branded
that,
RTX.
Swifty.
That's not a bad idea.
We're pretty pumped to be here. Have you actually, you know,
I would kind of separate like the premium from the budget.
Blizzard, right?
Yeah, I was here with Blizzard, and we were actually doing the, you know, promoting some of the new expansions that were coming out, and
They could
Yeah,
talk
that's all.
Tegra. I don't think they
So
will
we
though.
managed to
I think
tear
this
you
is
away from
all.
Battle for Azeroth for this.
I think
Oh,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
all
We're in the
about
middle of grinding. Everybody's
high-end
grinding
video
Battle for
cards.
Azeroth right now, so I took a little break to come here to the event. I did bring my laptop, by
Especially
the way,
after
so
that
I can
trailer
actually
they
game from
dropped.
my hotel room.
Yeah,
It's like-
perfect. But today, you're on a break. You're going to get to see the whole announcement of whatever's going on. That's how
sometimes
hyped
it's
we
tough
are
not
here.
to
We
buy
actually
used
managed
cards,
pull
to be
Swifty away
honest.
From a brand new WoW
Sometimes
expansion
people
that just released.
like just want to get rid of their
So,
old card,
I
and
don't
to
know
a lot
about
of
you,
people,
but there's a feeling in the air.
a 1070 or
There's something
1080
going
are
on. All
fine,
my friends, their
you know?
avatars are all just that Nvidia green. There's the hype video that we've shown, and everybody's just kind of needling and rumoring
The
about
GTX
what exactly
line
is
won't
going
support
on
ray
here.
tracing.
Are you ready to
Interesting.
actually,
Okay.
you know, get a peek at what we've got cooking up?
Yeah, I'm super excited, man.
Yeah,
wait.
because the
See anybody here that you know behind us? Any influencers that you've worked with or streamed with before?
the
I saw a
RTX
couple. I'm Spoon was here. I
is
saw I'm
supposed
Spoon.
to
I haven't really seen that
support
many influencers. I just got
ray tracing
you know,
like
from the hotel,
natively
I
and
just came straight
everything.
here.
So it's supposed to do it
And,
much better than we've
yeah.
ever been able to do
Fresh,
it
did you
before.
just get in?
Yeah, I
It's
just
really
got
cool.
in. Just flew in.
Still has this
Like
smile.
real time.
Still jet lag.
Look at him. He can't even stand up, but he's still excited to be here. Swifty, how's Battle for Azeroth?
Battle for
15
Azeroth
minutes.
is actually really amazing. They brought back a World PvP.
Yeah,
I'm
see,
super
like your
excited.
950s used. It's
That's why, you know, I'm kind of grinding.
some people
the first
just
couple
live
weeks
on
is-
used
is a
cards.
real
They're fine with
grind fest,
it,
you know,
you know?
because you want to get ahead of the game before the actual content
Yeah,
actually comes
1070
out.
is a great
So
card.
I'm looking forward to head back, you know, sometime tonight.
Maybe we'll try to pop that
live
light
stream.
off, just see if it
That's
helps
the only
any.
thing that's on your mind
I
right
look
now.
very
Wait, are
bright on
you-
my monitor.
Are you Horde?
No, I play Alliance.
Boo.
You know,
Horde
I'm
for
curious.
life.
Do a lot of
Yes, I
people
play
still
the
play
Horde.
World of
Why
Warcraft?
did you pick the Alliance?
Well, I started off as Horde, but my friends were on Alliance, and they said, hey, you come over to Alliance. So I had to delete my Horde tune, and then I switched over and made a Night Elf, and that was 14 years ago.
And then you started getting bigger on Twitch?
Started growing. You know, for the Horde audience, I actually made a couple of Horde characters to play on there, but yeah, they're right now with the Battle for Azeroth, the war is real. Like right now, you know, a lot of people get angry at me, like on the live stream too, when I play Alliance and I start bashing the Horde.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk to you anymore. In fact, I'm not going to, because we actually have
sound
our
pretty
second
bright.
co-host here out on the field. She's pulling influencers too, and she's going to talk about exactly what the vibe is here in this room. Let's send it over to Shannon. Get out of here, Swifty.
Oh, okay. I mean, 1060 is a good card too. I know they have a 3 gig and like a 6 gig
Hey everybody,
version.
I am back here at the Nvidia event in
think most people try to
Gamescom
buy into the
in
6 gig
cold
version.
Germany, of all places, which I've never been before, and I found Dominic. What's up, Dominic? How are you doing, man?
I'm good.
So you've been to Gamescom before, right?
Yeah, one time.
And are you super stoked about this event? Because I know I am.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay,
totally.
I was curious how many
So
people
what
still
are you
play.
looking forward to
still
most
play
about
WoW.
the Nvidia event in particular?
I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping for
mean,
a new tech setup. Maybe.
Back in like
Who knows? Maybe.
Back in, like,
What's the
2005,
video
2006,
game that
WoW
you're
was, like,
most
massive.
excited about playing here.
it was at like I think it's
Games
hype
from
back
this year,
then.
Oh, that's a little bit rough. Maybe Cyberpunk 2077. But
Oh, that'd be cool if they
yeah,
did
I don't know.
that.
I mean, Fallout 76 would be nice, but I think it's not at the Gamescom this year.
You know, I've actually heard a lot about 2077, so I am very, very pumped about that game as well. Coming from, well, I'm from the hacker industry, so we really enjoyed the cyberpunk era and everything like that. But I am super excited to demo all sorts of video games. This is my first time
1080p
in Germany,
gaming was
so I wanna
conquered
know
a while
from you,
ago.
Since you live here in Germany,
The 1060
what should I
is a
do
fine
while
card
I'm
for
here?
1080p.
While you're here, definitely get some German culture and try some
I
German
have
food.
I have a
mean,
couple
gummy
different
bears are really
computers at this
nice, but I
point.
guess you have to admit
The one that I
you're
stream with that I'm
so-
using right now
Gummy bears? What?
it has a
Yeah,
GTX
that's
970
kinda
in it,
sweet,
and then the other one I have has a
but
1070 in it. So I don't have a
know what
1080.
else. Maybe walk
Um,
around. Cologne's a pretty
Now
nice
might be a
city,
good time to pick one up when
but-
everybody
just
tries to
enjoy the
drop
German lifestyle
theirs.
style in general.
But
Well, I definitely intend
I'm
to
curious
enjoy
about
the
this
beer while I'm here in
2070.
Germany. I definitely intend to play some video games as well.
I'm very curious
But
about the
thank you again,
2070.
Dominic. I really appreciate you joining me, and I hope you have an awesome time at the Nvidia event today. But I'm going to go
Mr.
ahead and throw
J
it back
Speed
over
said
to
donated
Swifty
$5.
and
Said
Julian.
appreciate
Take
the
it away, guys.
content. Thank you, Mr. J Speed. I appreciate it.
They're telling me I have to
It's
still.
very nice of you.
70,000. It's 71,500. It keeps going up.
What are you used to seeing on your streams?
Well, 3,000, you know, about that. But my God, 71,000. It's going to be 72,000.
That's a lot of people watching you right now. Is there anything you want to say to the folks at home?
What's up, guys? Twitch.tv/Swifty.
Good opportunity to plug
All
yourself,
right.
absolutely. So for those of you maybe just joining us now who don't know what's going on, I'm Julian, this is Swifty, Shannon is out on the field, and we're just here getting ready for Nvidia's big announcement.
I mean,
now,
if you have
nobody really knows
an
what
i3
to
4160
expect just yet. I've been
would
here in the past.
probably
I got to see the 1080
1060
series,
might
like the
be
mobile cards
like
launch and got to play
the
with
roof
VR
for you. I would look into
laptops
like
all day long. I got to climb
an
Mount Everest
i5 if
in
you
a
can.
tiny
I don't know what your
little room
socket
here in
is or your
Germany.
motherboard.
And I still get the sense
a
that what
1060
we're
would probably
gonna
work
see
fine
here
for you.
today is more impressive and bigger than that. I'm kind of trembling a little bit. You're still hung up on the number of like 70,000 people.
Yeah, but look at all the people. Like the excitement is real. We
I think
came
for
in
Nvidia that's
on giant
big.
Buses, Nvidia buses.
For like
I didn't know we had big buses.
I didn't know we had bus
E3
money.
events where we have
like big bus,
Microsoft,
and I
Nintendo, and
cannot lie.
Sony, that's actually not a lot. But like for Nvidia, where we're looking at video cards,
And
it's actually a pretty good
actually
amount.
have-
You know,
I recently just
74,000.
got 5 GTX.
We
1080
do. We
Ti's
have
and all the
almost
computers in the
1,100
gaming
people in
house.
here.
So I have a gaming house. So I just got that, and I pretty much only use Nvidia products.
You have them all. You don't have them in SLI, right? Like
try
5-way.
to
That's not even
kill this
possible.
light over
I
here.
don't
See
do
if that
SLI
works.
anymore. I just have single graphics cards.
Yeah.
because I need the capture cards.
Nvidia's
and,
been trying to
you know,
get rid of
other PCI
SLI
Express
anyway.
slots
I don't know
free.
how anyone
you've been
really
using
uses
the-
SLI
The
anymore.
graphics cards are so fast now, you don't have to SLI anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We used
you've
to
been
do that
using
all
the
the
10
time.
series now. The 10 series has been out for about 2 years, those Pascal cards. Those were just mind-blowing when they came out, especially, you ever do anything with VR?
Yes, we do have a VR. I do have an HTC Vive at the house. And I also have Oculus Rift also. And yeah, it's a room dedicated for that.
Yeah. Did you try and play with, you know, maybe the series before that, the 9 series or anything VR? Did you notice a big difference between Pascal and Maxwell?
No, not really. Right now I'm just using the 10 series.
I'm not as
that's
bright,
the
at least. I'm
one that
not
I mainly
reflective
use.
anymore.
So yeah.
I remember talking to devs when the 10 series first came out at E3, and some of the devs we were talking about were just like, they got to their hands on the 1080 series cards before anybody else, and they were just blown away. I was talking
Yeah, I
to
remember
some of the developers
there was,
who made the Mount Everest VR
There was someone
experience. And they
I
were
used to
talking
know that
about,
had
like,
3
how
video
easy it
cards
was
to their
to-
computer, and that thing would
Everest VR?
crash
Yeah, you can climb
all the
Mount Everest.
time.
No, I haven't seen that.
He was
It's
playing.
pretty
This
cool.
was this
Yeah,
was a
you can-
long
you
time
can feel
ago,
what
though.
it's like. They actually, when
to
they
remember
first
what-
demoed it,
that might
they
have been when we
actually
were in the
got a
5
rented
series still, or 6
room
series?
and put it like freezer on full blast and put you in a parka.
Like cold air and everything. Oh my
Just
God.
to really give you the full experience of that. Speaking of full experience, Shannon's out there getting more ideas
Wow,
of what people
got
are actually
970
thinking
SLI,
out there.
nice.
So,
nice.
Shannon, who you grabbed? And
jumping
what
up
do
to
they
the
think of what we're seeing here
2080
today?
single video card will probably be way better, but
Hey, Jillian,
that
thank you
2080
so
Ti
much.
sounds
I'm
like it's gonna be a
back
beast,
here
but it also
again
sounds like
with
it's gonna be like
Max.
800.
Max, aka Gassy
$800,
Mexican, correct?
though.
Yes, even though I look like a tall white guy, I'm half Mexican, that's my name.
So what do you do, man?
Kind of just general internet weirdo. That's what I usually try to put out. You try to explain what you do for a living, you know?
I can agree. I like to be weird on the internet because that tends to come along well, especially being a YouTuber. But you also play a lot of Twitch, so what are your video games of choice?
Kind of true variety, a little bit of everything. Lately,
So about 6
I've tried
minutes,
to stay-
yeah.
Everybody's
Still
playing
got some
Fortnite,
time.
of course, you know. But then I try to mix in some other stuff, some Sea of Thieves. I was
Still
playing
got
Total
some
War, so kind of
time.
everything from strategy to RPGs to pretty much everything.
So I'm going to be honest with you real quick. I am terrible at Fortnite. Can you give me some tips? Because I need to get better. The first time I played it, I died, and I have continually died so much in that game. Just headshots everywhere. So what can I do?
What I did was plug in a controller. Before you judge me,
Just coffee.
I plugged in a
Just
controller
Dunkin'
because there's an
Donuts
aim
coffee.
assist in that game where it's basically sort of like a soft aimbot kind of deal, and I've used
Usually I need
that
coffee
just to try it out because I was
before-
playing
even, like,
keyboard,
before
mouse
I go to the
normally,
gym, which
and
is
realized that I couldn't compete with everybody,
after
especially with
this.
the building
I
and all
usually
that stuff. So
coffee
I just
before then.
switched and pivoted the game mechanic and the way I played
I
to just lean
I
into
don't
that
know.
advantage
They
of having
seem
aim
to-
assist. So plug in a controller, try it.
I'm not
Don't
as
judge me.
into
I am not judging. You know what? I am willing
I'm
to
not
try
as
anything
into,
because
like, the
I am
PC
so bad at
Twitch
Fortnite.
gaming scene.
So tell me, we are
Really
here
Twitch
at the
anything
Nvidia
scene for the
event
most part,
here at
so-
Gamescom. What are you most
I know one guy
excited
they looked at
about
was a
here
streamer.
at the event?
I
wish
think
I
it's
could
just a
tell you.
general
I'm not
mystery
100%
of
on that.
what they're, you know, the
They're
stuff that
they're at
they keep behind it.
The
84,000 now.
suspense. The
You know?
suspense.
They always come out swinging whenever they announce anything. So as a true gamer, as a hardcore
Well, Guillermo,
gamer,
you might want to
not
wait and
that
see what
that
card they have
makes
here,
sense for
because
gaming. Just as a
for
gamer,
that
excited to be here.
1440p, you'd probably
It's-
want like a
it's always
1080 to
exciting
really
see
get
what they
it
have up
there.
their sleeve and what they're gonna to roll out. So I just want to get in there and see what it is.
Yeah,
Well, it is
I was
my
gonna say
first year
Fortnite doesn't
here,
need a lot
so
to play.
I definitely am going to have a great time,
Like-
and for more coverage, definitely check out everything that's going on at Nvidia. I'm going to throw it back to
Like
Julian.
Fortnite is a
Thank you so
fairly
much.
easy game to play.
The doors have opened. People are
Oh,
actually getting
people are
in and
rolling
taking
in.
a seat. But before we get to any of that, I'm here with Ron Christensen. He's going to tell us a bit about what he does. Ron, you're a modder. I've seen some of your work. But for those who aren't familiar with you, what kind of rigs have you built?
I've done quite a few in the past. Just recently, just did something for Nvidia here that we're going to unveil here in just a little bit. Got a couple projects over at the.
I have not
Epic
played
Games
Quake
booth over at
Champions yet.
Gamescom.
I like
Did
Quake
some,
1.
llamas,
I
some,
played that a lot on my
new llamas,
Pentium
for
2.
Fortnite theme. So yeah,
Before
that's
video
one of my
cards
most
were
current
around.
projects. Got some couple things
I played a
coming
lot
up
of the
maybe
original
for,
Quake,
World
though.
of
I didn't like
Warcraft,
Quake 2
but
as much, but the original Quake was
we'll
it.
unveil a couple things here just shortly.
Have not
What's your
checked
philosophy
out
when you're building something? Do you just go like
Quake
as
Champions,
crazy,
though. I might.
intricate as possible, or do you
It's
like
free now, I
beautiful,
think, so why
simplistic?
not?
What's your style?
I kind of just like to shoot from the hip. You know, I really don't work from any like structural plan. I just kind of work from what comes up into my head. And sometimes I'll get halfway through a project and I'm like,
I've been around at
I
a
don't
computer
like it,
since
you know,
before
and then
video cards were a
start
thing.
over. So, you know,
Do you at least keep that hardware?
Those were
or
the
do you scrap
days.
that too?
well, hardware goes in after the fact.
Well, until
so
Voodoo
that's
came
always
out and ruined
safe in
everything.
Another room, so I don't get any paint overspray or anything like that on it. But yeah, I usually just shoot from the hip. I don't usually work from any architecture.
Yeah, you'd probably be all right. i5 4690, you'd probably be all right.
I like to do a lot of research with.
People always go i7,
building
but
something
honestly,
that
i5s
has,
are fine for
you know,
gaming.
where I can get a lot of, I don't know, like pics from, or where I can resource pictures and stuff like that. Like
Jared
this
Rooks
project that's
says,
gonna be
donate
unveiled in
$2.
here, I
Says,
did
here's a
lot
couple
of,
bucks towards your
project,
8K
had a lot
Switch,
of
which is just leaked by
mind-based
Marcus.
stuff. So yeah, I use a lot
All
of
kidding
reference
aside,
from
great
the
work.
internet
Keep
stuff to
it
get
up.
inspiration.
Man, the internet
But,
really
like I said,
exploded
no-
last night
no
over
really
that.
structural plans at all.
It was
I got to see
insane.
this rig that we're going to be unveiling. I know we're being
Oh, I
very
haven't
cagey
tried
and
out Sonic
mysterious,
Mania yet,
but
but I
just
should.
wanna ask, it's beautiful.
Well, no, I have
How
that.
long
I have
did
that.
take you?
That
It
6-button
took about 2
Genesis
months.
controller. That'd be
There's
perfect
two halves that combine
for
to
that
make one,
Sonic
one
Mania.
PC. So each half took about 30 days. Had a little
about
couple setbacks during the
3
process,
minutes.
as all projects happen.
So it's
I
be at
understand
noon
you
my
injured
time, so
yourself.
3 minutes.
I did, yeah. I was working on the build, and I decided that I didn't like a certain part of it, and I was
Yeah, I was,
carving away at it and
Playing around. I was
jumped
going
right
through
off
some of my
the
old
surface,
PC
went
games
right
and
into
stuff,
my
and
arm.
I remember I
In
found
the
this at Goodwill
case
recently
demanded a sacrifice, which is
for
very
$4. It was one of the originals,
Yeah, for
the
sure. It
OGs,
did
the
deserve a sacrifice.
Jedi Knight, Jedi Outcast, and I was
Ron,
looking
thank
at like
you so
the
much.
back.
We are getting ready for the main event here. You should probably go ahead
And they
find
have,
yourself a
like,
spot inside.
minimum
Guys,
requirements
stay
being,
tuned,
like, Windows
because coming
95.
up, we are going to have the main event in just a moment.
That's great. What's the RAM requirement for it? 64 megabytes of RAM. I found it at, it's like complete in box. I found it at Goodwill for like $4. Many people are talking about Etika because I ran into him at Long Island Retro. He's a nice guy, very very tall. Dude's like 6'6", but he's a nice guy. He was pretty cool. We ran into each other there and talked for a bit. Nice guy, very nice guy. Very good at editing, by the way. People don't seem to realize that with a lot of his videos. Some of the editing he does is actually pretty serious. You only have 32 megabytes of RAM. All right. They're getting ready. Yeah, I know there's an Indies showcase.
So nice to see you.
Out of nowhere.
hi, I'm back.
I'll go over all that. That was a very
Yeah, no, we're
awkward.
gonna have a
Yeah.
secret
Are we doing a
handshake for
secret
moment.
handshake?
That's
Okay.
a secret.
We
Nobody
didn't
tell
practice
anybody.
beforehand.
Yes, we did. We're super
Don't
good at
lie.
this. Shannon, how's the mood out there?
Oh my God, everybody is so hyped. I am so stoked for this entire thing because, well, I've never been here. So I was given some tips. I was also given some
Windjammers
tips
too?
by
Yep.
Gassy Mexican.
Oh, man, you guys
as
know-
far as how to play Fortnite.
You
So
guys
that's
know me.
good because you put me in Destiny too, and
I'm in for
some
Windjammers too.
you know.
Gassy Mexican.
But
You guys know.
Yeah.
but you put me in Fortnite, and I'm not very good. So it was really nice to get a few tips from him out there. But everybody is so excited about everything that is happening in there.
I'm super good at Fortnite. I'm in the top 100 every time.
I feel like you're lying to me.
There's only 100 players at a
Oh,
time.
did Sega?
Yeah.
Oh, there you
super
go.
good at
That's
it.
how good I am at
Yeah.
Fortnite. I don't
I
mean
feel
Oh,
like, yeah, you might need to
Sega
play a little
retweeted
more.
the
PUBG.
Shenmue 1 and 2
Same deal.
HD thing I did, and I didn't
top
even.
100. That's my
Yeah, I could
preference.
do
I
some
wanted.
game.
I figured
No, it
Max
could be like, who was
should
it?
be getting
Maybe we
that.
won't name them, but hiding in a bush the
Max is
entire
a
time.
massive
My
Shenmue
girlfriend,
fan.
my girlfriend hides in the bush all the
And,
time. She's watching at home. Hi, Katie. Everybody knows
Katie.
you hide in bushes.
I
But
did
she's
the-
really good at it. Like top 10 usually.
I did the video for it and everything.
Don't
Oh, my
hit
Switch is
the
upstairs. I
buildings,
just got the
because that's
Morphe's
the
code,
worst place to
Morphe's law
Make
code.
sure that you hide in the bushes and in the forested regions.
Yeah,
And then
500
just let
megabytes
everybody
used to be
else,
insane.
you know,
Yeah,
kill
just-
each other.
But Max's
Let
review for
everybody else
Shenmue was so
Yeah,
good.
That's my strategy in general.
Dreamcast guy, I would check that out if
you
you're
got to
thinking about
actually talk to some
Shenmue
people
for
out there.
tomorrow.
I got to talk to
Go check that
Ron
out.
Christensen, a
You did a
modder.
great
He built
job
a
with
case
that.
you already saw.
I was
that
never
you're pretty
as into
excited
Shenmue,
about,
but I
because
still
understand
checked it
We're
out.
actually going to be giving it away.
What?
But
Yeah.
Can I get it? No, I'm
No,
probably
you can't.
I'm
You
not.
work
That's
for
out
it.
tomorrow
Conflict of
on
interest.
PC, Xbox One, and
These are
PS4.
ethics. So you guys can get
And
involved with that. There's plenty of ways.
if you're a
actually to
Shenmue
get
fan, you're
involved
gonna
with our
love it.
stream. We're on Twitch. There's a chat, and
But-
you guys can utilize it. I'm sure you're going to have lots of questions about specific games and some tech that we're going to be talking about here today. And if you have those, fire away. We have the finest monkeys.
I need one of these companies to bring me in to do this pre-game segment stuff.
I'm going to get them and relay them on to whoever we're going to be talking to.
I will.
I want to take a
well.
shot at one of
Yes,
these.
So keep your eyes peeled. You see
these
anything
things.
that you want to know more about, let us know, and we'll see if we can make it happen. Talking to devs and other people here who work for
Yeah,
Nvidia
Morphe's
who
Law. I
know
have the code
a
for
lot
it.
more than us
I got to
frankly.
download it and check it
Absolutely. We're
out.
going to be going on very, very long
but
into
of
the
course,
evening here in Germany, which
my,
I'm so excited
Switch
about
is
because
upstairs, so I
wait to
can't
bring you
download it
all
right
the different
now.
kinds of coverage that are coming out of the Nvidia event, but also Gamescom too.
I
because
might have
I've
fixed
never
my
been
broken
here,
Switch.
This is your
never been
first
to
time at
Gamescom.
Gamescom.
Yeah, I've been to CES and like HackerCons, but never
yeah, Shenmue 1 and 2 is a great
video game convention
port.
This huge.
Yeah, this
That's
is
really
bigger
what I went
than,
into
like,
it with,
E3.
because
This is about 3 times
you're-
bigger than E3.
if
both
you know
in,
Shenmue,
total
you already know
area
about the
of
game and you're
booths
going to want it,
and
but you
also
might be curious about
people
how it
just
plays and
attending
everything.
It
plays great.
Wall to wall. People come from all over Europe. This is the biggest
It
one here.
plays great.
This is insane.
Shenmue
Yeah, and they stay
1
in
and 2
line for
HD play
hours to
great on my
play 5 minutes of
Xbox.
demos, but you know what? If you guys are
It's
tuned
good-
in with
it's a good
us
port.
over at YouTube,
Whether you like the
YouTube
game or not, it's
channel
kind of up to
GeForce,
you, but
you're
it's
gonna get to see
a great
all that
port.
stuff and us
So.
getting our hands on it right away.
Yay! I'm so excited about that. So I am super excited.
Yeah,
as well
Sega just
about our
retweeted
Twitch
my,
stream, too, which you guys are watching
Shenmue
right
thing.
now.
We have
So
over
again-
70,000
I didn't even think,
people
because
watching.
I don't know
What? I haven't seen
Shenmue as
the
well as
numbers.
Max.
It's a large number.
I hope they retweeted his too.
Yeah.
What? Okay.
He did a great
Yeah.
job with his.
I'm a little
He got like the
nervous now.
We
jacket
should
and the
take a
watch
break.
and
Yeah,
everything.
no, Shannon, calm down. We're
That
going
was
to take
pretty
just
awesome.
a little break,
Sorry.
and then we'll be back. 70,000 people. Just shh.
good.
Goose fraba. Good.
Thanks, Sega, though, for retweeting that. I appreciate it. It's so Shenmue 1 and 2 is a good game in 1999 and 2001. I played it on my original Xbox, even Shenmue 2, because I don't think there's any other way to get it here in the States at the time, unless you imported it, I guess. But I questioned it how well it aged. I'm gonna be curious to see how the younger generation, if they pick it up, what they think of it. But no, Shenmue 1 and 2 is good, and we're getting a Shenmue 3 announcement tomorrow, by the way, guys. So there's gonna be they're announcing something. I'm hoping a release date, maybe? I don't know. We'll see. Ooh. Mark Goldman, you're at Gamescom tomorrow? Hopefully they have Shenmue 3 and it's playable. Hopefully that's their announcement. Maybe they'll have a demo. Ooh. That'd be cool. Run around playing everything. Go play some Shadows Die Twice. Go play some Devil May Cry 5. That's playable. Spyro's playable there. Go have some fun. They're a bit late right now. I think they're just getting everybody set up and in. Everyone's just kind of getting. I think everyone's just kind of sitting down right now. You can see them kind of.
Now now I'm all alone. Shannon had to go and talk to other more important people, but I'm still here. You're still here. And the great news is you can get involved. Like I said, we're going to be showing off some stuff that
this is going to
blow
put
your mind a little bit.
This should put AMD on notice as well.
You are connected to a keyboard with which you
this
can
should
ask
do it.
those questions. Go ahead, type them out. We're going to be talking to devs of some big games and some smaller ones too with some interesting
AMD
stuff
apparently has a lot up their
We're gonna be
sleeves
showing
too,
off
so we'll
some really
see.
cool tech.
But
and if you want to know anything about that, you want me to pass that along, type it out. We'll take it
think-
down, and I will ask them. All right. So while we're waiting for everything to begin, I just want to remind you we are here at Gamescom, the pre-show that Nvidia's got
I would be
set up.
surprised
We do
if
this
Shenmue 1 and
every
2
year.
don't
The
go to the
event has
Switch.
always
I'll
been
just
a
say
big
that.
one. We
I'd be
rent out
surprised
a
if it
huge
didn't.
space. We show off some cool tech, and
It'll be
gotta
late
say,
if they do it,
I've
but
never
I'd be
seen
shocked
one
if they
this
didn't.
big before. We don't know what's going on. There seems to be some sort of wave building. Everybody I know has a green avatar. There's hashtags flying around before the game. As you may have seen, we've got our sweet hype video with "Hold On, I'm Coming" just pumping through the speakers. So we are pretty psyched, and we're not quite
you're
sure
6 minutes.
why. All we really know, looking at what
12:06.
Nvidia's done so far this year and from in the past,
They are
is
like,
that they've
it's just me or are they really stalling
got
right now?
something probably up their sleeves that you're going to want to see.
That's not just
In
me,
fact,
right?
If you want to get hype again, we're going to go ahead and show you. Hold on, I'm coming. Sam and Dave and all the gamers getting ready to play before the game. Check it out.
It seems like they are big time stalling. They're showing us the commercial again. Oh man. They are big time stalling. Although this was a good commercial, so I can't be mad at it too much. I did see the Indies Direct. Morphe's Law is out later on today, along with, I think, 2 other things. Yeah, they're stalling, yeah. Morphe's Law, I'm actually going to be checking it out as soon as this stream is over. My Switch, like I said, is upstairs. Otherwise, I'd be downloading it right now because they just sent the code over. So, if you're curious about the game, you know, wait for a video and I'll have it up hopefully later on today before it goes live so you guys can check it out.
The keynote hall, which is amazing. It is packed in here, and I am joined by Tudor. Hi, how are you doing?
Great, thank you. I'm here with everybody waiting for the amazing announcement that's gonna come
we're all
very
waiting.
soon. I think we're gonna hear
All of us.
pretty
Oh, wait, what could it be? There's so much suspense, I can't wait to, but I am also very, very excited to go to Gamescom as well and see
Maybe
all
they let
the
everyone in
different
late or
demos that are
something.
going to be in the demo room here. What are you
Wow, they got
most excited
140,000
about
people
coming out of
watching
Game-
on their channel right
Well,
now.
Gamescom is
Wow.
gonna be full of very interesting things, but this Nvidia announcement celebration is definitely one of the most amazing things that are happening in Gamescom this year.
I've been hearing so much hype on the internet, so I'm very, very excited and fortunate to be here on Super.
Clark with
Gracious to
$1.53
Nvidia
says,
for
let's
also
hope we
inviting
see
me, but
something cool.
I want to know a little bit from you.
I think we're going
Have
to
you
see
been
at
here
least
before?
a
Because
very
I've never
powerful
been.
video card.
Well, I
but
haven't
I
attended
hope they
the
have
Gamescom before because we are mainly a hardware website.
some
But
like
I
lower
have
end
been
stuff ready as
attending the
well,
other
like
Nvidia
budget stuff
launches
as well.
Before, like the 1080
We'll see.
in Austin, Texas. So I can tell you that this one is by far the biggest
Say
launch
Fortnite
that
one more
Nvidia-
time.
or announcement celebration that Nvidia ever did so far.
Well, I'm excited to be here. This is
That's
awesome,
funny.
man. Now, are you super excited as well to be in Cologne, Germany? Because I've never been here. I don't know what to do. What do you think I should do while I'm here?
Well, you know, Germany in general is great. There are many beautiful cities, but Cologne is one of them. You can see the dome. You can
Man,
climb the
I,
tower, you can enjoy lots of things in
I
the city.
can't believe Windjammers
I
2
think
got
the
announced
weather is
today.
very
I'm
nice
still
right now,
shocked
so
at
you
that.
can walk around and enjoy. Take
You guys
all
know I'm a
in.
massive
Also,
Windjammers fan, so
don't
like,
forget to visit Gamescom.
that looks
because
awesome.
Lots of brands are going to
I
be there
think they
showing
said
interesting stuff.
it's only on
Now, what do you
PC
do,
and
Tudor?
Switch
I want
first,
everybody to know
right?
what you do out there.
So
I am, writing
maybe they're willing to
about
take a
hardware.
chance on
I'm
that
the
with the
guy
Switch
actually
pushing
testing
indie so
graphic
well.
cards and CPUs and stuff like that before launch. So
Yeah,
my job
I'll
is
probably have to
actually
go over that.
testing
The
hardware before you guys even
I was trying to
see
figure out if
how
I can
it's
wait till
called.
tomorrow for the Indie
So that's
Showcase,
why
but
I'm also excited
there's
about
so
this
much
event.
stuff happening today.
Well,
I don't know if I
We are
will.
so happy that you decided to join us today, and
Thank you.
I'm going to go ahead and throw it back over to Julian. Thank you so much.
Welcome back. I'm Julian, and this is little Siha. She is Just Dance extraordinaire. What you doing out here today in Germany?
I'm here to see the Nvidia event. I want to see what all the fuss is about. Everyone's Twitter account is green, and I want to know why.
Yeah, you're in the right place. What do you know?
I literally know nothing. I know that it looks like a nightclub in
Oh,
there.
no.
And there's like loud music and lots of lights and stuff.
Bloodstained
so
is
that's pretty cool.
delayed to
But
2019, and
I
they
don't know
killed
anything.
off
I
the
have no idea
Vita
what they're
version.
announcing.
Perfect. So
Ooh.
the extremely tight NDAs have worked.
Well then.
No leaks so far. Everybody's in the dark. What are you
Wow,
doing
okay.
out here? And are you coming out to Just Dance World Cup?
That hurts.
They have one going on in Germany at Gamescom. In
I did
Germany,
not.
obviously.
Wow, I just got that
At
alert.
Gamescom.
Jeez.
I know we're going to be doing some stuff at Gamescom. Still don't know what yet. This whole event, I'm just like, I don't know why I'm here, but I'm here. So.
Well, I'm happy you're here.
Yeah, me too.
I like seeing you. It's fun. So nice. So you're also here with I Am Spoon, right?
Yeah.
So does Spoon know anything?
No.
Perfect.
I'm not kidding. This isn't like we're under NDA type of thing. We have no idea.
This is how secretive we are. Spoon is going to be hosting a significant portion of this show, and he knows nothing.
Nothing at all. I wish I knew. That'd be
Well, I mean,
cool
they
if
just
could
had
be
to
like,
read off the
I don't know
teleprompters.
anything.
Technically, they could.
But I have no clue.
Yeah, no, I mean.
Technically, they don't have to tell you anything because you read off the teleprompter.
Why would you say that?
Because it gives me
say that?
It gives me so much satisfaction.
I feel like I know. And
that I know a thing. I know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping it's cool. I mean, it's Nvidia, so it will probably be cool.
I mean, we already saw the
but
leaked video cards, so
it's going to be cool. I think you're going to get a kick out of it. I
we
think
kind
you
of
might
know what
start
they're
stretching
doing.
out of your comfort zone and playing some things that you might not normally play just because of what you see here today.
It's a new Just Dance graphics card, right? Like specifically for Just Dance 2019.
Yeah, it's it. It's all.
You know they still release that on the
actually
Wii?
strap it onto each of
I
your
think that's
limbs.
insane.
Can you imagine if you just like attached it to your wrists and your ankles, just had wires like coming everywhere?
You'd look like a marionette.
It would. Oh my God, you would.
Yeah, then you could
call
do.
it the Nvidia puppet or something. I'm trademarking.
Yo, the stalling is
Do it.
real.
Do it right now.
I feel like the
Before
guy on the other
July
side of the
wears
camera
off
is
and
just
you
sitting there
realize
like,
it's a terrible idea.
going.
I'm just exhausted and I'm just loopy. Yeah.
Like they
There's
are just
actually no
like,
crew here at all. You're just speaking to the air.
oh man.
Talking to a brick wall right now. Just like, yeah, I love this so much. So yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait to see what it is.
Okay, well, you better scurry in and have a seat. Shannon is out there on the floor. She's found another influencer that she's going to needle for information. So, Shannon, tell us what's up.
Well, there is
Wow,
so
this was
much
supposed to
up.
be
I'm
at noon.
super
This is,
excited about
wonder what's
everything
going
that's happening
on.
here at the event. I have Mike here with me. Hi, Mike.
Yeah,
How are
I
you
know,
doing?
but
Yeah,
they
great,
they
thank you. Nice to meet
they
you.
kickstarted,
Now,
I
what do you
believe,
do,
with
Mike?
the
I'm
promise that
extremely
there'd be a
interested
Vita
in what you
version.
do,
That's
actually.
more the
Sure,
issue.
so,
You know what I mean?
I'm a virtual reality YouTuber. I have my own virtual reality YouTube channel called Virtual Reality Oasis, where I deliver the newest news and information about virtual reality and gaming.
So what's your favorite
Okay.
headset?
Virtual
because
reality
I've tried several
Oasis.
of them, and I know what my favorite is, but I'd like to hear it from you.
Sure,
Virtual
so my
reality
favorite headset
Oasis.
right now is the Oculus Rift, but I do own all of them, so I do use them all regularly, but the Rift has
Virtual
a special place in my heart as it was the
reality.
first headset that I ever had.
That's a good point.
That's
It was the
impressive.
first
He
one that
runs
I
a whole
tried
YouTube
to
channel just
way
on
back
VR.
In the day when you still got like motion sickness from
Yeah, he does.
sitting
Look
up
at him.
the stairs.
Wow.
Oh yeah, and that's still a problem today. But you know,
Like,
the industry is
VR
growing, and we're starting to
is-
develop methods to prevent that from happening.
just
so
so small
we're definitely
still.
getting somewhere with that. Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you tried the
Like I've done some
HTC
VR
Vive
videos,
Pro?
and people just
I
don't
have, I
care
have
as
one at
much
home,
for some
actually.
reason.
Yeah.
I think it's just
so
very
I have the-
small
Dude, I'm
still.
so
That's why it's
jealous.
just so
I know,
niche.
I have the Rift, I have the Vive Pro, the PSVR, Oculus Go. I'm a collector of headsets.
Well, if you ever need to take any of those off your hands, let me know. I'd be happy
Compared
help
to
you
the other
out.
two people
Well,
they
you
talked
never
to,
know,
he's a
you
bit
work for
smaller,
Nvidia,
but
so maybe we could help each other out.
Yeah, they let me in here for some
do a
reason.
video
I'm
with
not really
Linus
sure
Tech
why,
Tips.
but Mike,
I don't
thank you
think
so
Linus
much for
knows.
joining us. Where can people
Linus
find
doesn't
you on
watch as
YouTube?
much YouTube from what I
Virtual
hear, so he
Reality
has no
Oasis
idea
is
probably
my
who I
YouTube
am or most
Perfect.
people
Thank
on
you so much.
YouTube.
Really love that you're here with us today.
Also,
and I'm gonna
the
go
way
ahead
that they
and throw
pump
back
out
over to
videos, they are
Julian.
probably constantly busy.
Very much, Shannon. I'm here with
Also,
Jacob,
I
as a
don't
YouTuber from
really want to do an
Poland,
unboxing with him
games,
because he
movies,
drops a lot
all
of stuff.
that good stuff. What are you doing here today?
Well, I'm waiting for the new stuff from Nvidia. I'm super excited to be here.
Have you been to these
He
Nvidia
seems
events
excited.
before Gamescom in the past?
Well, not really. It's actually my second time here at the Gamescom, so it's my first time.
I need to go to
at the Nvidia
Gamescom
event.
one time.
So
Maybe
you
I'll
have
do that
no
next
idea
year.
what to expect. You've never seen anything we've pulled out before.
No, not really. I'm actually.
Would you
a
guys like
user
to
of
see me
Nvidia
go around
cards,
like
but I've never
Gamescom or
been
E3
to
or something with a
this kind
microphone
of
and just
event,
find people
so,
and ask them
yeah,
about
I'm
games
really
that aren't
looking
announced
forward to
yet
see what's going to
and
happen.
pressure them
What
until
are
they
you
tell
gaming
us
on right
about
now?
games?
Well, right now,
Like
you
Mother
mean on
3
my
and-
PC or Nintendo Switch, because Nintendo Switch is powered by the Tegra.
Shh, we're not allowed to talk about that, right? That's an industry secret.
I know.
No, what are you gaming on your PC?
Right now, I'm playing The Graveyard Keeper. It's a small indie game that got released recently. but I love it.
Oh, that's the tiny build, right? Where you are the graveyard keeper that has to find less than.
No, I think they're doing all video cards here.
Correct. It's not that much about.
I think it's all like the
it's more
2080, 2070, 2060, 2050.
Kind of
I don't even think they'll do anything
like,
with laptops or anything here.
Cool. So that's
or mobile chipsets. I think it's just all going to be video cards.
Well, a mixture of both, actually, because I love to play some AAA big titles.
I should like go to E3 with a microphone and just start asking everybody everything. And
yeah, well, that's the joy of being a
accidentally
PC gamer,
break
right? You
stuff.
get to have all those
that'd
in
be
your world.
fun.
What card are you using right now?
I got the GTX.
I do have a very interesting thing coming up here that I'm trying to get stuff finished for. But that might be one of my first big shots at like
where can they find you?
Being they can find me on YouTube as Pan Kubaka.
In the industry type thing. So look out for an announcement at some point for that.
Polish, go find him.
Exactly. Thank you very much.
Because as soon as I get all the paperwork and everything done, I'm announcing it, and it's going to be pretty big.
Shannon, what's going on out there?
There's a big event coming up that I might actually be like a guest and media. So this is working well. Okay, there we go.
So much fun. And I am joined by Dennis. Dennis, what is up? Thank you so much for joining us.
Cheers. Thank you so much for having me.
So, Dennis, tell me a little bit about why you are here.
Well, I'm here with a couple of friends. We're here for Gamescom tomorrow. Super excited for that.
You should be able to.
Since today, we've got our new project, which features animation, science, and me as a musician, organ music, and sort of my music.
The rumor is that we'll be able to pre-order these cards today.
We need like a new graphic card because my friend, he's Marius. He's gonna render 1 hour of animation, and that's what we're here for.
Well, okay, so first off, two things.
Wow,
are you excited about the NVIDIA event?
I am so excited for it, yes. I saw the Vancouver one online, so really excited to see this one live now.
Well, I'm excited as well. But two, you play organ?
Yeah, well, you get into it.
That's so cool. I mean, I played a little bit of ukulele, but I'm not very good. So how long have you been playing?
It's taken a while.
At least 2009 or something, but one thing gets you to another thing. I do video game soundtracks as well, so as a musician you kind of want to combine things that make yourself interesting, but then obviously at the end of the day
this is quite a bit of stalling,
well,
though.
really
This is like
game music, video
stalling
game,
to the next
music
level,
can
right?
really influence how the game actually emotionally appeals to you too. It makes or breaks a game a lot of times.
Yeah, and also it makes a game last a lot of the times, yeah.
You just want to keep on playing because it's amazing. All right, so they are getting everybody seated, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Dennis, thank you so much.
Cheers.
I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Back to you, Julian.
Oh.
Hello, and I am Julian.
Oh,
here
I thought we were
with
starting.
Felix. Now, you're a game engineering student, you said, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
So you actually study, how to build games.
Nothing's been announced now.
What Nvidia's been doing?
We've learned about a lot, about a lot of people apparently.
Ray tracing, things like that.
Yeah, so NVIDIA RTX is something I'm actually really excited about because ray tracing brings so many interesting things for graphics. So you have much better shadows, ambient occlusion, all those stuff, which will bring much more realistic graphics I'm really excited about.
So you might be the perfect person to talk to. This ray tracing tech that NVIDIA announced at GDC last year of actually, how the light bounces around. How does that compare to the previous process?
I know, she was like, we're ready to go, and then they cut to another interview in like the hallway.
Using some statistical
time splitters.
So
I love the idea of THQ Nordic buying time splitters because Crytek was just sitting on it doing nothing, like nothing. And now that THQ Nordic has it, and they have some money that they can put it into this, and what's really cool is THQ Nordic has shown that they're willing to support all platforms, PC, PS4, Xbox One, Switch. So I think they're going to look at that and say, let's do it and put it on everything. Is this occurring in Russia in 1924 because this show has been overtaken by Stalin? Oh, Lorbanzo with the 5.
That's rigs they were running the RTX.
You got that one. I'll give you that one. That was good.
It was using 4 like $15,000 graphics cards altogether for like a $60,000 rig.
So just leave and come back in an hour. I know, right? If I knew this, I would have started at like noon. I would have actually started at 12:15.
Telling us a little bit about the tech. You guys, we're going to take a look back inside while we're waiting for this show to get on the road. So we're going to go check out the mood inside right now.
Is it time? Notice how I don't have the GTX stuff up there. That's good. That means we are probably getting RTX. Okay. I noticed that right away that there's no like GTX up on the banners. I mean, whenever they're ready, you know. Whenever they're ready. Man. At least all this stalling has kept people from hitting the like button. That's good. That's good. I was concerned that if they stalled for too long, the likes would have got like to like 500 or 600 or something. That would have been crazy. Oh, Houdini with $1. Oh man, isn't that what like caused a big issue at what you just put in there? Isn't that what caused a big issue at a convention at one point? I remember people always send that stuff to me. And I remember that was a while ago. I don't really know what happened with it, but I remember people were going crazy online over like that. I guess it's like a meme online.
I want to reach out to this
technology. Are we finally doing this?
Technology into my art and have the two
okay.
mix together.
We were making a lot of decisions where we thought things were going to be because we didn't have the compute power to support at the time what we wanted to do.
So at lunch one day, a Bell Labs executive asked, what would it take to ray trace this scene in real time? And I said, well, we need a 512 by 512 array of Cray supercomputers,
wow.
each with a red, green, and blue light bulb on top. And we'll put it in the desert and fly over it at 10,000 feet and take pictures of it.
See, I kind of like how they're going back to like way back, like to the beginnings and kind of working their way up. But I feel like this might be a little too dramatic for what they're going to show us. Like, I don't think they're revolutionizing anything with the RTX line, although they are pushing ray tracing in, which is pretty cool, but...
I recall it being sort of 10 or 12 months of hell getting these shots done, and it was because the render times were so horrendously long.
People are going to fight over that now with these donations with Mizio with $1. Oh, man.
Ready, go!
Thanks, Mazio. Oh, see, there's my game, guys. That's what I was telling you. Original Quake, man. That was it right there. Half-Life. Okay, Half-Life was good, too. I played a lot of that back in the day. That was really big. I remember when the GeForce 2... I remember when that showed up. GeForce 256. I didn't play as much Counter-Strike. This is when things started getting really out of control. I remember that benchmark. I had an FX 5200. Man, this is like... Some of this stuff is like nostalgic, kind of. I had an 8800 GTX. I did have that. I had a 285 when they were going out. Man, I can't... Man, I remember that butterfly. That's, like, super nostalgic now. That butterfly benchmark from back in the day with the FX series. Man. I do remember Doom 3 when that showed up. That was insane, but... Man, I remember my FX 5200 from back in the day. Zane Winter, smash that like button.
Ladies
what are
and
you trying to do here?
Please welcome Nvidia founder and CEO
Thanks, Zane.
Jensen Huang.
All right, here we go. Is he gonna do that thing where he brings out a video card, just holds it up, and everyone just ogles it?
Guten Tag, Gamescom.
Thanks, Elias. Appreciate it.
Welcome. First of all, great job, guys. We're going to kill it. Don't panic. Everything's going to be fine. There's so much technology in this room right now. It's barely under control. Okay, so you guys are going to have a great show. Welcome to the launch of the GeForce GTX 1180. I have never seen anything that leaked this much.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, who leaked everything, by the way? Like, do they know?
The good news is you're going to be surprised. We didn't do it on purpose, but everything on the web, every spec is wrong.
Oh.
You're going to be surprised.
Interesting.
It's going to be a great show. This is a historic
Really?
moment. This is a historic moment for computer graphics. For as long as there has been computer graphics, it has been the dream of computer scientists.
Just got a lot more interesting.
To generate with computers photorealistic images. When you look at this, what we consider the holy grail of computer graphics, you see some effects that today are simply impossible to create. First of all, light is coming in from the window. It's bouncing all over this room. The vast majority of this room is being illuminated indirectly. Whenever light touches a material, strikes a material, that material is rendered and simulated physically. The material is metallic or dielectric, is either smooth or rough. The roughness can come from microsurface structures that bounces light, absorbs light, diffuses light in a very different way. Maybe it's orientation dependent, maybe it's not. Some of it is glossy, some of it is matte, and as a result, this entire room looks alive. As light is bouncing around this entire room, it doesn't strike every surface the same way. Some of it is occluded from light. We call it ambient occlusion. You also see that there's a desk lamp, and it's shining through the glass, and because the glass has curvature and shape, light refracts around it and accumulates in a way that we call caustics. That little bright reflection on the table is particularly attractive.
I try to turn it up a little bit. Let me know how that sounds.
The shadow of phasma coming from all different directions. It's called umbra and penumbra. Umbra is where the shadow is completely occluded, and penumbra is where it's partially occluded, and so you see the sense of soft shadows. She's reflected in the mirror, even the parts that you don't see. You know how mirrors work. You could see behind things. Oftentimes in video games, we can't do that. The little bit of shadow behind that painting, ambient occlusion, or as light travels through those gummy bears, bounces around inside the gelatin, and then reflects and refracts it back out, called subsurface scattering. All of those little tiny effects are really, really hard to do. And the good news is, in 1979, a computer scientist named Turner
They're building
Whitted,
up like the ray tracing
now
stuff.
a researcher at Nvidia, described an algorithm that was both powerful and elegant. He called it multi-bounce recursive ray tracing. By starting from your eye instead of from a light source where light is emitted, because the vast majority of the light doesn't reach your eyes, so there's no reason to trace them. He traced light backwards, inverse ray tracing. Through the eye, through the pixel, through every single pixel on the screen, the ray would seek out, would be sent forward, and if it were to strike a triangle, it would then send off a shadow ray to decide whether it's in shadow. That shadow ray would go towards the light sources. If there is something else in the way, if it strikes another triangle, it would determine that it was in shadow. And if it doesn't, then it would accumulate the color and the intensity of that light would then be used to shade that surface. If that beam of light, if that ray going through another pixel were to strike a reflective surface, it would generate shadow rays to see if it's in shadow, and it would also generate a reflected wave, a reflected ray.
It's planned this way. They're trying to explain ray tracing before they drop all the video cards and stuff.
The same
trying to build it up.
angle relative to the normal of that surface where it struck. And then it would go off and decide whether it strikes another triangle. And if it were to strike another triangle, it would create shadow rays. It would determine whether that particular surface was in shadow or reflection rays and such. And if it was to hit into a surface that is translucent, then it would generate refraction rays based upon Snell's law. And that this algorithm, this basic algorithm, would recursively run. And eventually, he would generate this beautiful image. In 1979, he generated this image. And it took 1.5 hours on a $1 million VAX computer. Basically, he was generating 60 pixels per second. Instead of 60 frames per second, he was generating 60 pixels per second. And so the question then is, how long would it take for us from that time for us to be able to realize this incredibly beautiful picture that I just showed you a second ago? Well, if you look at our technology curve, has been nothing short of extraordinary. And
yeah, CPUs are junk.
You have so much to do with it. Because of the extraordinary demand of video games.
That's what happens there with the CPU
and the size and the vastness of this entire industry. It has propelled
competition is
one
terrible.
of the most fast advancing technology in the history of computer science. If you look at this curve, Moore's law has been the foundational thought, the foundational idea of computer science for 35 years. And yet during this entire time, since our beginning, we have been moving at 10 times Moore's law. If you go back to when Moore's law was following historical levels of increasing performance 10 times every 5 years, 10 times every 5 years,
they're really building this
or
up.
100 times every 10 years. Our GPU technology was advancing at 1,000 times every 10 years. 1,000 times every 10 years. And so the question is, and by the way, these are some of my favorite GPUs. Look at GeForce 256.
That was,
the
man.
world's first GeForce.
That's
How
old
many
school.
of you had GeForce 256?
I did not have a 256.
Incredible. Thank you.
That was when I was very, very young and I could not buy it, but I knew about it.
Look how cute GeForce 256 is. At the time, so you know, at the time, it was the single largest chip ever built. It was bigger than a CPU.
I think my first video card was an FX 5200.
That we built something that big, and they were even more shocked that we could sell something that big. But anyways, GeForce 256. GeForce 3 was the world's first programmable shader. GeForce GTX 8800 was the first CUDA GPU.
I did have that one,
The most
though.
important GPU we had built up to that time. And then, of course, the most powerful GPU in the world today, the GTX 1080. Well, if you were to plot out this trend and you were to think about how many rays it would take, you had billions of rays we had to send into that room, even though we're not simulating most of the rays, only the ones that are coming into our eyes. We're sending in billions of rays into that room. We've got diffuse rays that we have to do. We have reflection rays, refraction rays, and it's bouncing all over the world, all over the scene. And you have hundreds of polygons, hundreds of millions of polygons. The amount of computation
Get a Voodoo 3.
necessary.
I wanted a Voodoo, but I didn't get
into
one.
Several petaflops. Well, several petaflops, we're already at the teraflops today. So it would take approximately 10 more years, approximately 10 more years at our current rate of progress to go from teraflops to petaflops. Well, we didn't want to wait that long. We didn't want to wait that long. And as you know, architecture is the single greatest lever in computer graphics. It is the single greatest lever of GPUs. So what are the interesting new ideas we could create that allows us to achieve effectively 1,000 times more performance 10 years earlier?
They're making fun of Intel with that CPU chart.
The Nvidia RTX. The Nvidia RTX is a platform consisting of architecture and software and SDKs and libraries that allows us to combine different types of rendering technology into one unified and cohesive platform. Of course, it should always take advantage of rasterization. Rasterization is so incredibly powerful and so incredibly efficient, but we also need to include ray tracing. However, just ray tracing at brute force level simply won't get us there. it simply won't get us there. In fact, I'll show you something later that's just really amazing. It simply won't get us there unless we use this technology we discovered about 6-7 years ago called deep learning or artificial intelligence. We can finally create images along with ray tracing that allows us to achieve the levels that we otherwise can't imagine. Now, we leverage two fundamental rendering technologies. You know very well rasterization, which is the way that we do things today. We start with the 3D world, and we take the 3D world information, the vertices, the triangles, and we project 3D world vertices.
I think they're going to drop a serious benchmark on us here.
Pixel plane into our screen space.
We're going to get one of those tech demos that shows
how
bad it was before and how good it is now.
Silhouette of a triangle, and we have to decide and test which one of the pixels are within that triangle. One of the most beautiful things about rasterization is that you could parallelize an enormous amount of calculation. And nothing is more beautiful than being able to do things in parallel. That's one of the reasons why the GPU is so incredibly powerful at parallel processing. It started with the idea of doing things in parallel. It also has the ability to do things incredibly high resolution, because high resolution is just more things in parallel. And so rasterization was incredibly powerful. One of its limitations, however, is that every single time you want to light the world, you have to project light from that light. And if you want 2 or 3 lights, that's fine. If you have an area light, that's effectively infinite number of lights. And if everything in the room were to reflect light, and everything in the room became a lighting surface, otherwise known as global illumination, in the world of global illumination, all of a sudden the number of lights that you would have to cast inside that scene is just insane, and therefore undoable. Well, this is where ray tracing is particularly effective, because ray tracing, using Turner-Whitted's approach, simply traces the number of pixels that comes into your eyes, the number of rays that ultimately reach your eyes. The vast majority of the rays inside this room, the vast majority of rays in the world simply never are reaching our eyes. And so we immediately reject them. We immediately don't have to do them. And we start from ray tracing our eyes. Ray tracing, whereas rasterization is taking 3D world data, projecting it in 2D, ray tracing is sending out a ray of light, intersecting the pixel at the screen space, and enters into the world looking for a triangle that it would intersect. The two basic approaches both has its strengths and weaknesses. In the case of ray tracing, in order to ray trace this entire room,
is everyone learning a bunch of stuff?
The trillions of rays, the hundreds of millions
He's building.
of polygons, the amount of testing that you have to do just to
He's
figure out
building.
which ray intersected which polygon is just extraordinary.
You're gonna drop something
You
on us.
simply can't do it. Well, we put this platform together. And we worked with Microsoft to create the DirectX ray tracing, otherwise known as DXR, the Microsoft DXR. And then we worked with Epic to integrate RTX.
It's going into Unreal.
DXR into the Unreal Engine, the UE4 engine.
Wow, so it's already in.
We found somebody with extraordinary art assets, Industrial Light and Magic, and together we created the world's first real-time ray tracing demonstration. It had never been done before. And we announced it this year at GDC, and I think it's worthwhile to take a look at it, and I want to show you something special about it in just a second. Okay, so this is
So we're in a real-time.
our demonstration.
All right, yes, that's the one they kind of showed, but we're going to see a real-time one, I guess, where maybe they actually control it, and it's not just like a tech demo like this. Maybe they'll actually run around in the world. That'd be cool.
With all the elevators lately. I heard Kylo Ren destroyed the one over in D sector. If you ask me, who's ever in charge of this place should be transferred to Hoth.
Like, seeing something like this is amazing. Like, if this is real time, Michael Warburton, quick, write those notes down. There's gonna be a quiz at the end of this, yeah. Like, seeing this, like, being real time is insane.
You think she heard us? Yeah, I think she heard us. At least we blend in for once.
Incredible, right? Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, like, that's real time, and they can actually display it like them playing a game. That would be crazy.
So what you saw was physically based materials. It was sitting in an elevator shaft where there were area lights, and those area lights were moving as the elevator was moving, and therefore, as the
Thanks,
area
Michael
lights
Walburn. Thanks.
illuminate the surfaces, and the shadows would be soft. The shadows would be soft. Using area lights, incredibly difficult to render shadows. And notice the inner reflection. There's reflection off of Phasma. There's inner reflection of Phasma on her gun. And there's reflection of her gun on her chest. And if you look at the stormtroopers, the illumination and reflections are all completely in real time. Doing this is simply impractical today. The way that you would do it, of course, is that you would fake a whole bunch of lights. That would slow down performance. It still won't look right, and all the shadows will look bandy. Second, you would create all kinds of what is called reflection probes made out of cube maps, but unfortunately, they're all moving. So every single scene, you're going to have to create a whole bunch more reflection probes, a whole bunch more cube maps, basically starting from the point where you would like to have to see reflection and rendering out from that point every single direction, turning into a cube reflection map. Those tricks simply are not practical with a scene of this level of fidelity. Well, it took 4 Tesla V100s, the same GPUs that are powering the world, 5 of the world's top 7 supercomputers today. It takes 4 of them in a $68,000
Is that all?
deep learning supercomputer that we make called the DGX. This is what researchers use to create their deep learning AI models. And so $68,000 to finally render running the RTX platform, real-time ray tracing at about 20 some odd frames per second.
Oh, jeez.
Well, when we announced it, people got so excited about it. They said, how do we buy that DGX? We could use it as a game console.
Oh, gosh.
And the requests just kept coming in. How do we turn DGX
Flynn,
into
my
a game
brain is on
console?
overload. Too much science.
The price point is slightly out of reach for most gamers.
They're going to start getting into the
so
cards
today,
and everything.
I would like to make my first announcement. Starting immediately, DGX.
Oh, jeez. Is that all? Nice. We got a new game console. Only
3,000 easy payments of $19.95. 3,000 easy payments. We'll throw in the first game for free.
Oh, man.
So call now. The telephone number is right below you. 1-889-789-2080.
All right. What does that phone number actually go to?
And good luck with that.
Who's calling that phone number?
It's beautiful, isn't it? That's just completely liquid cooled. It is silent, doesn't make a peep, and it does real-time ray tracing for the very first time for $68,000. Well, it turns out what you were looking at just now was not running on that. It was running on this little thing.
Ooh.
This little bad guy. This is called Turing. We've been working on Turing now for almost 10 years.
We know about Turing.
Trying, failing, trying, failing, trying, failing, all these different algorithms, trying, failing, and finally, Turing. The most advanced GPU we've ever done, 10 years in the making.
Wow.
The greatest leap since we created CUDA.
Whoa.
And computer graphics will never
that
be
is
the same
a
again.
that is a claim right there.
Inside Turing is 18.9 billion transistors. This GPU, this chip, is the second largest chip the world has ever made. The only other largest chip is called the V100, which powers supercomputers all over the world. It has 3 brand new processors. The SM is completely brand new, has the ability to do independent floating point and integer operations. And the reason for that is sometimes you're shading for color, sometimes you're using integer operations to calculate addresses so that you could run your shader program to do things like subsurface scattering. And as more and more special effects are to happen, the SM's address calculation part of the logic becomes much more complex. 14 teraflops and 14 integer operations per second. I like to shorten it just to 14 tips. So 14 teraflops and 14 tips. It also has the ability to do this thing I won't talk much about today, but we're going to write plenty about it, variable rate shading, so that we could do things like foveated rendering, focusing all of the horsepower of the GPU where your eyes are focused instead of wasting it evenly across the entire space. If you're moving, we might be able to adapt
So what in the world
focus
is AMD going to be able to do?
Horsepower. If the resolution or the content detail is different across the entire scene, as most scenes are, we could focus our horsepower where there's the greatest amount of fidelity. As a result, you're effectively getting a several X boost in your shading performance. The second is a processor we call the RT core. RT stands for Ray Tracing Core. It's 10 gigaраys per second. I love saying that, 10 gigaраys per second. A 1080 Ti, the fastest GPU in the world today, 1080 Ti does 1.21 you guys got, no? Nobody ever saw that show? 1.21 gigaраys per second, okay? And so we do 10 gigaраys per second, which is 10 times a 1080 Ti.
Jeez.
It does I'll explain that in just a second, a BVH tree traversal, and it does ray triangle intersection testing. And then we have a new processor
The teleprompter going a little slow.
which runs AI processing like crazy. 110 floating point teraflops, or because it has multiple precisions, depending on the type of networks you're running, you might be able to use lower precision or mixed precision. As a result, 440 tops with 4-bit integer. All of this so that we could do hybrid rendering and run RTX. Well, so the question is, how does this all turn out? So if you look at the performance,
what can it
looks kind of
do?
like this. So Turing is built for RTX. And if we ran, the first thing I showed you was originally ran a GDC was DGX with 4 volts, 55 milliseconds. 55 milliseconds, about 20 frames per second. And this is what Turing looks like.
Whoa.
1 Turing. So 4 volts in a DGX.
Wow. Jeez.
This has never happened before. This has simply never happened before. Doing computer graphics,
let's get that
essentially
price.
a supercomputer replaced by 1 GPU within 1 generation.
That's insane.
Of course, it took us 10 years working in parallel. If you were to look at Pascal, this is what Pascal looks like.
Oh my gosh.
The fastest GPU on the planet. The fastest GPU on the planet today. 1080 Ti, 308 milliseconds versus 45. Basically, about 8x. So the question is, what's happening under the hood? This is a new computing model, and so there's a new way to think about performance.
Wow.
It's a new computing model, so there needs to be new metrics. Back in the good old days, the vast majority of computation was done in shading. We're basically shading the color, or we're running a program in the shader, and basically we're shading. But in the future, we're going to be doing lighting, we're going to be doing all kinds of image processing, and so the pipeline is completely different. And if a pipeline is different, the platform software's got to be different, the architecture of the GPU has to be different, and you have to measure it differently. We have a new way of measuring, and let me talk to you about how we're going to do that. So if you look at this frame, this is abstracted, of course, but it's not too far off. Basically, within the frame that I was showing you earlier, we're doing ray tracing pretty much all the time. Okay, we're shooting rays all over the place. We're looking for intersections of triangles and figuring out which one of them has to generate shadow rays and which one of them have to generate reflection rays and which one of them has to generate refraction rays. And for the reflected rays, it's got to figure out how many more shadow rays it's got to generate. And so all those rays are bouncing all over the place, and eventually we accumulate the color, the intensity, whether it's directly or from something nearby, and we shade that surface. And so we're ray tracing all the time. And that's with our RT core. That's the amount of time, the fraction of time within 22 milliseconds that an RT core is doing it. Imagine if we didn't have the RT core, multiply that by 10.
Failed to connect for the new phone number.
If we didn't have an RT core, that green bar, just simply in terms of time, is just 10 times larger. So basically, all the way down the street. Shading is shading. We're doing shading incredibly well. One of the things that's really great about Turing shader is that we can now overlap.
Yeah, I'm not sure how AMD competes with this.
Floating point integer, and as a result, it's, call it 1.5 times more performant than it used to be. And then that's the integer shading there. And then for DNN processing, when everything is done, we could use it to generate pixels that we haven't finished. To generate using artificial intelligence the pixel that we haven't finished, or use artificial intelligence to generate resolution that we otherwise couldn't have. Okay? It is possible to filter information, but it's very, very difficult to generate new information that looks right. And so with artificial intelligence, we can now, for the very first time, generate
I'm thinking they're going to have to show us a live demo
that are actually right. And we could do it in real time because we have the tensor core. And so if this is what's going on in the frame, then what's happening inside our chip? So the first part of that processing, the shader and the RT core, the Turing SM and the RT core are both concurrently running. Later on, we're shading and running other parts of the program, the shader program. And so those two parts are running, the FP and the integer. And then finally, when everything is done, we're going to use artificial intelligence. All of our 110 teraflops, 110 teraflops, think of that, is basically 10 1080 Ti's.
That's insane.
It's basically 10 1080 Ti's dedicated to doing one thing, which is artificial intelligence. And so if you just simply do the math, you have about 14 teraflops of shader math.
Yes, the other question is Intel is getting their video cards out in 2020.
Effectively of ray tracing. 14 plus 14 independent teraflops and TIPS. And then lastly, 110 FP16 tensor core processing floating point operations per second. When you take that and do the weighted average on it, it's basically 78 tera RTX ops per second. And so the way to think about performance in the future is to figure out a way to weight all of these different types of processors. And so the way we think about Turing is 78 tera RTX ops. Okay? Compare that to a Titan X, our highest end of approximately 12.
Wow.
78 versus 12. When you're running ray tracing, that's what it's going to look like, 78 versus 12. Well, one of the most important miracles, you're going to see a lot of writing about this in the future, is simply the testing. The concept is simple. You're sending an array into the scene, and you're trying to figure out which one of those triangles out of 100 million that intersects. Well, you could simply just walk across the screen and see which one you eventually touch. Well, you got to go 100 million times. Or what you could do is you create a data structure, an acceleration data structure called a bounding volume hierarchy. Basically, it's like binning. Suppose I had 10 things I got to figure out which one is the one I want. I was asked to go pick something out. I had to go pick one of 1,000. I'm going to put 10 bins or 10 boxes, and within each one of them, I'll have 100 things. Within each box, I'll have 10 boxes with 10 things each. If I knew that, if I started looking for that thing out of those boxes, and I discovered that it is in one of those larger boxes, then I can ignore every other box. And then once I find it within the larger boxes, if I find it within one of the 10 smaller boxes, I can ignore all of the other boxes. And then if I can find it within that box, I know it's one of the 10. It's the same idea here. we're sending this triangle, we're sending out this ray, we're trying to figure out which one of the triangles it intersects with. And once it intersects with a bounding box, which
AMP's
is a
gonna be
large
playing
structure,
catch up again.
which has a whole bunch of other bounding boxes within it, which other boxes within it,
I mean, they're
and within
supposed
that,
to
there's a whole bunch of triangles.
talk about
Once
their new
we
cards
intersect one of the bounding boxes, we know all the other
next
bounding
year,
boxes
but
are ignored. And then we figure out which one of the bounding boxes within, and then once we figure out which one of the bounding boxes
The
within,
question's gonna
we have
be,
to figure out which one of the
do
triangles
they have
it happens
this
to be.
this Turing
Well,
architecture
the amount of
in their new video
mathematics
cards?
necessary to do this is just shocking, and to do it precisely so that the image quality is perfect is really, really hard, and took us 10 years to do this. To create the architecture and the algorithm for doing this, design it in a way that actually speeds up, which is very, very hard to do because these beams, all these rays are incoherent, which is the enemy of parallelism. Somehow, we figured out a way to make all these incoherent things largely
AMD's
parallel,
been playing catch
and
up
then
for a
to
while.
create an acceleration structure, an accelerator that allows us to do this at the speed of light. And so, the RT core was invented. Well, the RT core invention had to go along with all the software layer on top of it and what we call eventually the RTX platform. At SIGGRAPH,
The
we're
Bitcoin
really pleased
miners.
to see research being done in
They're
this
going
area.
crazy looking at this.
Our researchers and the researchers at the Search for Extraordinary Experience. I love that. SEED, Electronic Arts.
They're probably trying to
research
call that
team.
number.
NVIDIA
60
research is
grand
called
for
NVIDIA
a
research.
supercomputer.
EA research is called SEED. I love that. The Search for Extraordinary Experience Division. And so they worked on RTX with our researchers to figure out how it could accelerate, how it could create new computer graphics. And everything from deferred shading and direct shadows and lighting and reflections and global illumination and ambient occlusion, transparency and translucency. Translucency and transparency are just incredibly hard to do with rasterization because the concept of depth is very difficult to discern. And post-processing, as you could see, for each one of these operations, we're using different parts of the chip, exactly as I described earlier. The effective ops, the effective computational capability, 6 times Volta. 6 times Volta, 6 times NVIDIA V100. And so that kind of puts it in perspective. This new Turing processor, this new Turing GPU is just a monster. It's incredible. Let's take a look at some of this stuff. And so this is what it looks like. This is computer graphics today. Physically based material, direct lighting. You could see the shadows. They're hard shadows. We could try to trick it by blurring it a little bit, but it's still going to be basically that. And this is what RTX looks like.
Wow.
So
that is quite different looking. Jeez. I guess the real question is, they're going to be able to get these into their gaming GPUs at all.
hey, you got to clap at the old stuff too, because you know it resembles us. So here we go. I'll give you a chance, guys.
I mean, that is a pretty big difference. I guess I would consider that a generational leap there.
This is where we came
That's pretty
from.
big.
You got to be proud of it. You got to own it. It's ugly, but you got to own it.
That is pretty big.
After. Before RTX, after RTX.
And that is a pretty serious jump.
Oh no, this is just the beginning. I'm just warming you guys up. I just gave you an olive for the appetizer. Okay, can we show them some stuff?
Okay,
Nacho,
there we go.
Is it you and me?
Yes.
Okay, so this is Nacho. He's one of our dev techs, incredible computer scientist, amazing computer graphics engineer. This is what he was able to do with RTX off. RTX off. Now, of course, this scene is incredibly hard, and the reason for that is because you can't use tricks like screen space reflection here. You could put some reflection probes, but it's just incredibly hard here because things are being reflected all over the place. There's refraction. You see that graphics card back there? That's a beautiful graphics card, and announced it a week ago. That's called the Quadro RTX. And you got this crystal ball here where it should reflect and refract. There's a little green ball on the ground there, and then there's that chrome ball in the back, and this empty, I don't know why, but empty glass box. And it's got area light coming in, which is really hard to do. Okay? And so in this particular case, Ignacio is doing his best to emulate the area lights, but the shadows are ugly. You know, this is the limits of today's computer graphics. Now, we could fake a lot of stuff. We could fake a lot of stuff by arting it up and cause you to not look at it. But in the final analysis, this is what the limits of today's computer graphics is. Now, Ignacio, let's turn RTX on.
Wow. That is a large difference. It just looks way more lifelike.
Let's take a look at RTX on. Look what happens. The refraction of the glass globe there is just incredible. And look at this, the little caustics on the ground. The area lights.
It just really pops a lot more.
Cast the soft shadow. The umbra and the penumbra. Notice of the graphics card. The shadow of the chrome ball looks right. Now there's reflection of the glass box in the RTX, Quadro RTX. You see Quadro RTX from that sphere, and you see the reflection of the chrome ball with a little bit of rough surface to give you a sense of material. Everything just kind of looks right. Even the glass is
yeah, everything just really
shadow.
Pops off the screen
Even
with
the glass
that,
is
right?
Casting a shadow. Hey, let's go back to the last one again.
It just looks very flat there.
Yeah, I know. Now, of course, we got to add a whole bunch of paint and a whole bunch of stuff to make it look right, or we could do it this way. RTX on.
Like it just like really just pops out.
And there was a gasp in the audience. But this could possibly be a photograph, right?
Yeah, let's see some stuff in motion.
Nacho, show me what you got. Oh, come on. Okay. Pretty incredible. Oh, you had to turn on a spotlight on top of that. Everything just works. Everything just works.
Oh, wow. Like
look,
reflects it back and everything. Wow.
Reflects and refracts and magnifies just like it's supposed to. And you just have to turn it on. And so the benefit of RTX is just turn it on. Thank you. Good job. And so now I'm going to show you something. We're going to turn it all together. We're going to put it all in. We're going to put it all together. And it's going to be a demonstration that we created recently. To highlight the power of Nvidia RTX, this mixed mode rendering, unifying rasterization, ray tracing, compute, and artificial intelligence. And what you're about to see is completely in real time. Everything you're about to see is completely in real time. It's kind of hard to grok because it's going to be so beautiful, but it's completely in real time. You're going to see beautiful reflections. You're going to see inter-reflections, reflections of reflections, and it's all going to be dynamic. You're going to see beautiful lighting. You're going to see area lights. You're going to see beautiful ambient occlusion. You're going to see beautiful physically modeled materials. So things that look like metal looks like metal. Things that look like things.
Okay, so this is going to be real time. So this is going to be
That's
like
very
not a
technical.
cutscene or anything like that. It's going to be all done just completely by the GPU. It's not going to be like pre-rendered or anything.
And that's how I talk to the engineers. Guys, we got to make things that are things look like things. And they go, I know what you want, boss. And so what's in here is just really a miracle. And it's running on one
reflections of reflections of reflections.
GPU. It's running on one Turing GPU.
Okay, wow.
Ladies
all
and
right.
gentlemen, the name of our demo is called Sol, S-O-L.
Soul. We actually saw this. I actually showed this in a, I think this is one we already saw. This is where he was like dancing and the machines were dancing as well. I don't know. I don't know how the next Xbox or PlayStation can have this stuff because they're using AMD. We've seen this before. But to now know that it's running on a single GPU is pretty impressive if you really think about it. One GPU. It's not like a big supercomputer with a bunch of volts of GPU in it. And they're obviously overdoing some of it with the reflections everywhere to show it off. Yeah, AMD would have to have something up their sleeve similar to this for PlayStation and Xbox to be able to do this kind of stuff, the next ones. So the demo they show here isn't new, but I guess with the added information that it's running on one GPU, it's definitely more impressive now watching it back.
What do you guys think? The Nvidia RTX. Nvidia RTX running on top of a Turing GPU. Hybrid rendering, real-time ray tracing for the very first time. That's the first part. Deep learning is the single most powerful computer technology that has come onto the scene in the last 30 years. Deep learning is a field of machine learning where
Nvidia just dropped the prices for their video cards.
Train a supremely large neural network how to do things.
Okay.
You train these neural networks.
The video cards are more expensive than I thought they were going to be.
Data, which is otherwise examples on supercomputers.
Wow. Okay.
And this is the reason why voice recognition, natural language understanding, photo tagging, image
prices leaked out for the next video cards.
All of these amazing feats of software are now finally possible. It is the reason why self-driving cars.
They have a 2080 Ti, a 2080, and a 2070.
To fathom.
And the cheapest one is $600.
Deep learning is changing one industry after another. And
cheapest one is
$600. The fourth industrial revolution. It is going to enable AI and computers to write software by itself, to basically run on a supercomputer, to write software by itself. At NVIDIA, we're doing all kinds of research around deep learning. We have a gigantic supercomputer that all of our researchers use to develop software. Now, some of the things that are, I'm showing you some examples here. These are some of my favorites, but there's so many. For example, you could teach a neural network how to colorize.
They have
by just showing them
the 2080 Ti
network examples.
Founders Edition is $1,200.
This is a black and white. This is how you colorize
the
it.
The RTX 2080 is $800. And then the 2070 is $600.
Learn what the pattern is, and you can give it a black and white image, and it colorizes it. You could teach a network how to take a low-resolution image and make it higher resolution. Because you and I could look at this image and say to ourselves, you know what? I bet I know what pixel each one of those pixels are.
No, it's $600 for the cheapest one.
You could use a low-resolution image input and eventually get an output of a high-resolution image by going the other way, which is starting with a high-resolution image and
that's for the 2070
neural network the opportunity.
The 2080 Ti is $1,200
to generate that, and whenever it's wrong, you correct it using this thing called stochastic gradient descent.
It leaked out on Twitter. People are posting it from their website.
Literally correct it, and it tries to guess and guess and guess, and it corrects itself until one day it's able to figure out what pixels to generate. You could teach it how to take a cartoon and turn it into live video. This is a piece of work that we did in NVIDIA research. Okay, we simply taught it how to do that. Pretty amazing, right?
So you can do self-driving cars too.
Take a low-resolution CT scan and not only increase the resolution of it, but also segment it. Figure out what organ is what from that blurry blue image. Okay, you watch this. We taught it how to segment, how to identify which organ is what, and put a different color around it.
I would hope the 2060 would be like 400.
Pretty amazing.
Oh, Hat in Time just got announced for the Switch. I didn't think they were going to move it to the Switch.
It has the ability, you could teach it how to go find identical twins. Come on, you guys.
Shadows Die Twice coming in March 22nd. Sorry, I'm just getting a lot of updates now.
This is what we taught it to do.
On news everywhere from Gamescom.
Change the color of the hair. All in real time. Previously, you would have to find identical twins to do that. Much harder. Now you could do it with an artificial intelligence network. You could take a sketch and turn it into 3D. So you take this neural network, you give it a whole bunch of examples, you tell it what is the input and what is the exact expected output, and we give it a chance to try and try and try and try again, trillions and trillions of times on a supercomputer. Eventually, it trains and does this amazing thing. And then it creates this neural network model with hundreds of millions of parameters or hundreds of gigaflops of operation necessary to perform its task, to either classify, to predict, to draw, to generate, to imagine what color looks like. We could teach it to do these amazing things. However, there are so many architectures, and it takes so much processing to do it in real time.
No,
and so we created
didn't talk about cards yet.
Tensor Core. There are a whole bunch of them in our chip. And imagine this, okay? Imagine that a 1080 Ti is 1080 Ti is what, 11 teraflops. A full 1080 Ti, a full 1080 Ti at $699 is 11 teraflops. This is 110
Yeah, I guess
teraflops.
if the 2070
Basically, it would take
is more powerful than the 1080
full
Ti.
1080 Ti's to keep up with the Tensor
And
Core
at 600,
processor
that actually
that's
wasn't
all
too bad then,
over
I guess.
The Turing GPU. Now, one of the things that we taught it to do is something really incredible. And so we taught the neural network this thing, and we're calling the NVIDIA DLSS, Deep Learning Super Sample. Basically works like this. We create a whole bunch of super, super high resolution images with lots and lots of samples. So we jitter it, and we create basically 64 amazing images, and we create hundreds of thousands of those. And then we give our network, we put an image in here, and we say, using this, it's called an autoencoder, convolutional autoencoder. It has to be temporally stable because we want to do this for live action. And so the network has to remember part of the past. And we're going to give it an image, and we're saying, go generate this amazing image.
Yeah, the TI version's a bit more expensive. That's like $1,200.
Okay? So pretty soon we'll be able to give it a new image it's never seen. We train it, and every time we train it, if it guesses wrong, we tell it what's the right answer.
Yeah, it was just funny because A Hat in Time
takes another image, it guesses it
they
again,
were talking about how
turns
it
out to be
was
wrong.
never going anywhere else, I guess. And
we
now
sit there and we
into
just
the
simply
Switch, so
loop on it on a supercomputer. We'd run it trillions of times. And then eventually you put in an image, and it creates this beautiful image out. You create you take a
oh, it's coming September 13th also.
Lower resolution, say 1440p, and it creates this beautiful, beautiful image that's 4K. Now, of course, the question is, where did the images come from?
I think it's boring. I think they're talking to
magic come from?
Probably a room half full of gamers who are waiting for the new cards to be announced. So they're
essentially what deep learning is
to
doing
them, it's
is
probably taking a while.
The memories of a supercomputer.
You can see it in the Twitch chat
and it puts it
even.
into this neural network, basically an image generation brain. And you put this image generation brain, this neural brain, into the mathematics of our GPU. All of a sudden, it knows when it sees this image, a better version of it is that. And it sees a new image, a better version of it is that. That mathematics came about, the weights of those neurons came about because of a supercomputer. And so in the future, every game would have had the benefit of supercomputer pre-processing before you play it. And we call that platform the Nvidia NGX. In the future,
neural graphics framework for AI
computer graphics will merge with neural net processing.
Yeah, I saw that about
neural
Bloodstained.
Graphics acceleration.
Delayed 2019. The Vita version was canceled. That's a shame.
NGX. It's a framework
That's
for
a
doing
shame.
all kinds of amazing image processing. You saw earlier.
Mostly because
super
they promised it for their
resolution.
Kickstarter.
We've invented super slow-mo. We're going to do all kinds of amazing things that makes video games and the images that come out of these computer graphics, CGI, look even more amazing. Basically, it works like this. We have a supercomputing infrastructure. There's a whole bunch of software that runs on it. The first thing you do is you generate ground truth. What is the perfect image? What is the perfect image? And then we have to train this model. It's a multi-dimensional manifold, and we're basically randomly walking around this manifold looking for the least error, looking for the time when you send in an image, the output is closest, your predicted output is closest to what ground truth is, okay? That your prediction is the closest to ground truth. And you're sitting here wandering around this gigantic universe, and it's incredibly, incredibly large. And so the computation time is very, very long. And that's why we build these supercomputers we call DGX. I showed you an earlier version, the desk side version with 4 GPUs. These ones have 8. And then we test and optimize it. Then you put in a low resolution image or lower quality image, or the image is in fact not even complete with ray
I wouldn't
tracing.
say the Vita's as dead as the
somehow
Wii U.
We
The
complete
Vita still actually sells
somehow
fairly well in Japan.
We make it more beautiful. The Nvidia NGX. And then we have this AI model that we then OTA to you. You download it into your driver, into this plug-in interface called NGX, and the neural networks are changing all the time. They're getting better and better, and we put it up in the cloud, and you could decide whether you want to enhance your images or not. Then you run that on Turing. NGX, driver, this is all part of the RTX platform, and you run it on the chip. Well, the supercomputer looks like this. This is the machine that is generating all of those networks. And basically, before you even run it on Turing, before you even run your game on Turing,
16
there are a
Tesla
bunch of
Beyonders.
supercomputers here's one. There's a bunch of supercomputers that's training these models. And the graphics card, here's one. The graphics card, you guys know what a graphics card looks like, right? Here's one, available retail, $68,000.
Jeez.
Okay.
They're just one-handing that, walking around the stage with it.
Got to keep your abs tight while you're doing this. A whole bunch of interconnects, SerDes interconnects called NVLink, connects all of these GPUs together into one virtual GPU. Every single GPU can see each other's GPU memory.
$68,000, and he's holding it like
all
a
together,
tray
this
serving
board,
food.
that system has 2 of these inside. 2 of them. This is 1 petaflops. That's another petaflop, not motherboard, but mother of, God, it's heavy. GPU, 2 graphics cards, makes 2 petaflops. 2 petaflops, you want to put 2 petaflops is basically a supercomputer with servers from that side to that side. 400 servers, $2 million without anything else of servers this replaces. And so we use this to train the neural network model. Here we go. Here. You can do it. Thanks, lad. Thanks, Paul. You use that, and you train this network called the Nvidia DLSS. Okay? And then it comes up with a model like this, and this is 4K TAA. You guys know the Unreal Engine Epic's demo called Infiltrator. It's just beautiful. Incredibly taxing on systems. And 4K TAA up there. TAA is the anti-aliasing technology we invented, which is temporal. And so temporal, it takes last frame, the motion vectors, and it tries to figure out what's the best combination to create beautiful edges. Look at that, because it's temporal and the motion vectors, so many things are moving. You see a disjointed hinge over here. And this is 4K DLSS.
Yeah, Gamescom announcements are coming out quick now.
That's just perfect. Okay.
Announcements are hitting fast and heavy now.
For the very first time, because of this, because we could take a lower resolution image, and because we could train a neural network with all kinds of super high resolution and super high quality images, this neural network, it runs on a bat out of hell processor called a tensor core, could then in real time enhance images. In real time, generate pixels it had never seen before. Generate pixels that make sense to go there, because if you and I were to look at it, we would know what makes sense to go there, and therefore it makes sense that we could teach a neural network how to make sense of what pixels to put there. So I'm going to show you something. This is Infiltrator running on one GPU at 78 frames per second in 4K at a quality that has never been seen before. A 1080 Ti, the fastest GPU in the world, can currently do about 30-something.
Wow.
Okay, from 30-something, what you're about to see is 4K. Now I'm going to lock it to 60 hertz because this display happens to be V-synced. And so you're going to see the frame rate on top, and ideally, it's pretty high. Very first time.
So it's pretty much going to be locked at 60, and it's not going to move.
See Infiltrator running at 60 hertz in 4K.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. This is if you have this at 4K and everything, this benchmark is pretty hard to run.
Is that amazing?
Yeah, it's not going to come across well over a stream. I mean, the people there probably saw it.
Smooth.
The fact that it was sitting at 60 the whole time.
One Turing GPU, twice the performance of the highest end GPU in the world today, 1080 Ti, running at 4K with beautiful image quality.
I guess this new GPU will pretty much
we should probably at this point take
enable
a look at
4K 60 essentially.
What Turing does and RTX does for
completely.
Games. You guys want to see some games?
Yeah. I guess that's the
Kata.
That's that 4K 60
What do you
jump.
have for us? You need your mic on, sir.
Oh, testing 1 2.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
ladies and gentlemen, Kata.
All right. So first up, we have
head of our developer relations. We work so closely with developers all around the world. We work with them to improve new technology, create new technology, and optimize their games for our platforms, and push the limits of what's possible in real-time computer graphics. And the work that we all do together is it just brings me so much joy. And we got this amazing developer relations teams that works with them, and dev tech team, and all these computer scientists that work with them. And man, it's just so great. I love you guys.
And in my 17 years here, Jensen, our entire team has never been more excited over a new technology, a new product than with Turing. And also with the developer reception has been phenomenal, and we're just so pumped.
It's Fortnite.
Really, an honor to be here to, deliver.
They show off
Kata,
Fortnite.
You know what?
Games.
I'm going to give every DevRel and every dev tech in our company a new Turing.
Oh my God. Oh. Thank you. Wow.
The number of people in that group, I'm sure, has increased by a factor of 10 since I said that. Okay, what's the first game we're going to talk about?
So Shadow of the Tomb Raider is the first up. It's the latest in the release, obviously.
Okay, so we're actually going to get something
Not
newer.
much needs to be said. It's a super
Not
successful franchise. Just data-wise, it sold 65 million units, and it's going to ship the Shadow of the Tomb Raider on September 14th. This time, the game has Lara Croft going on an epic adventure in Mesoamerica and South America. Just one thing to note, a parallel, Lara has a long and illustrious history, and actually, in many ways, Lara and Nvidia has grown up together because we both
Never thought of it that way.
Yeah, in the mid-90s.
Yeah.
And in fact, Jensen, it happens to be the first game I played when I bought my first Riva 128 in 19.
I was 30 when she was 25. Grew up together.
So yeah, so we work for Crystal Dynamics, Nixies, and IDOS Montreal, and we're excited to be able to show it.
And now what we're going to feature, we're going to show just a little part of it. Then later, there's an after show.
Oh.
And the developers are going to talk to you about all this. You're going to be able to
With
see all
ray
this
trace
stuff.
shadows
but we're going to show you
on.
just a few things about it.
Interesting.
So one of the things, of course, Lara Croft, you're in shadow all the time. It's all about shadows. And one of the challenges with shadows, as you know, they're just using traditional shadows. They're too crisp. And so they have these hard shadows, and if we use contact hardening and we use percentage closeness shadows, they're kind of blurry and fuzzy and noisy, and when you put a whole bunch of them together, it just becomes a big mess. And so what you're looking at is ray trace shadows. And you're going to see a lot of ray trace shadow stuff, and that's the first demo we're going to show you. We're going to feature ray trace shadows. Go, take it away, guys.
Hey. My name's
Chad.
Hey, I'm over here. And apparently I work in the DevRel team with Kata, and apparently I just got a new Turing, so I'm really excited.
Bingo.
So what we did is we worked with Nixies and IDOS Montreal to bring real-time ray-traced shadows to Shadow of the Tomb Raider. It's perfect.
And so the thing to look at right now with RTX off, you saw the crisp shadows up there, and you saw right here, this is really hard to do, and that's why they don't do it at all, which is dynamic lights and shadows.
These are dynamic point lights. They're really expensive to do in current rendering techniques because basically you have to cast shadows in every direction from the light. And this goes back to what you were saying earlier about having to put a cube map here and a cube map here, and every time you move, you have to redo
Who's getting Shadows of the Tomb Raider, by the way, in
so
chat?
let's put RTX to
Shadow
the
of the Tomb
test
Raider.
and have it just do it for us.
Aww.
Well, that's cool. Is that going to actually be in the game? Like, are they having ray tracing in the game?
The beautiful thing about ray tracing is you turn it on. You know, when you turn on the light, it just does the right thing physically. And because we're tracing these rays physically, it should perform according to what we expect.
Yeah,
and so the umbras, where right behind, where it's nice and dark, it's correct. And where penumbra, where you have the softness of the shadow, because not all of the shadow is occluded, part of it is lit, you get some softness.
Yeah. Off and on.
Wow.
Now let's take you to, you were talking about some of those area lights earlier. You want to look at some examples of those?
Yeah.
Well, here's a big example. This is an incredibly lit scene. This whole scene is amazing.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
I'm a bit concerned about Shadow of the Tomb Raider
And
right
so
now.
what we have here is we have two cone lights and two area lights.
I think it's coming out at a bad
These area
time.
lights are basically rectangular shapes, the neon lights above the stage.
There's a lot
And what
in
you
September.
notice is the shadows below are hard, like you keep talking. And this is state-of-the-art for real-time graphics right now. And I got to say that because the guys are sitting right next to me who made those shadows. And they are, Brett, this is the best we have right now.
And they look beautiful.
Yeah, they look
beautiful
great.
until now. And the way that's simulated, those area lights are simulated essentially as a couple of point lights. And that's why you see such hard shadows. But if you
Exactly.
simulate the area lights like area lights, because we ray traced it, And independent of where the rays bounced around, eventually, if it were to hit some part of that area light, it gets lit. And so ray tracing is a much more cost-effective, in fact, however, very difficult to do, way of doing area lights.
And let's turn this on and take a look. So you get the nice blend of the color and the light.
Isn't that beautiful, guys?
Doesn't look as like, yeah, I see what you're saying. Doesn't look like the shadows don't look as hard, like cut.
It's rather.
And we can do whatever we like. We could add more area lights. We could add more spotlights. You can mix it all together without trying to fidget with it, without trying to figure out what is the definition of right.
I think a lot of people are going to wait for
right
Tomb
just
Raider.
looks right.
There's just so much stuff happening
That's
this
another
fall.
wisdom. Right looks right.
But I just think a lot of people are going to forget about
this. They tell me all great things about shadows. They're
like,
telling me shadow's another color to them.
Because I like the
love shadow. And
Tomb
they
Raider
also told me
series
that shadow
recently,
and light
but
is what they use to set the mood and tone of their environment.
I don't have a lot of confidence in this
so
game
that's how
doing
important
well.
shadows are. And it feels like we just gave them a lot more depth for it. Some more on. More off.
Okay. What you got?
Well, we want to take a look at some more area lights that are very interesting.
Let's take a look at one more shadow.
All right. Lights above. And we have hidden in shadow.
You see this? Look, I can reach that. Whoa, whoa. That right there, that's the umbra.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You want me to turn it on?
No, keep going. And that's the penumbra.
Their stream messed up, and everyone's like typing F in the chat for Twitch.
Keep it off. Okay. Yeah, see, that's the umbra. And notice how sharp that is. That's just not right. It should fade away. Okay, turn it on. There you go.
Oh, man.
There you go. Otherwise, it looks like another person on the ground.
People are saying refresh. Hold on.
Look at that.
Let's refresh it. See if that fixes it. There we go.
Leave it on.
That's funny. I don't know what happened to why their stream blew up like that. It was weird.
Everything just works. Okay. All right, man. Good job, Chad.
Thanks.
So that's Shadow of the
Let's take a look
Tomb Raider.
An exclusive trailer of the Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
I guess that was part of the deal. I guess they partnered with him for that.
What is that?
I'm so concerned about. I don't think this game is gonna I don't think it's gonna sell that well in September. There's just so much around it. You know what I mean? Like, there's just a lot of stuff coming out around it. I mean, Dragon Quest, well, it's not like big. It's coming out a few days before it. And then the month after, obviously, Battlefield, Call of Duty, Red Dead. I just think there's too much coming out for this to do super well. Also, is she finally going to become the Tomb Raider in this one?
That's awesome. I can't wait. That's going to be a wonderful game. All right, what's up next?
Well, another blockbuster, and this time we have Metro Exodus by 4A Games.
Oh,
okay.
Man.
That's going to look good. That's going to be a good-looking game.
So for those of you who don't know, it's the third in the Metro series. This is set to take place in 2036.
The original, I remember Metro 2033.
Post-apocalyptic wasteland of
was a
the former
beast on
Russian
video cards.
Federation.
They introduced like the tessellation
you guys
and everything.
Know this. It's been super successful. In just 2 versions of the game, they've sold 7 million units. And this one, Metro Exodus, is due out February 22nd of next year. It's going to be well worth the wait.
I think it comes out same day as
developed
Crackdown,
by 4A
right?
Games, who since for the first time we met with them, Jensen, back in 2009, they're super enthusiastic and very forward-thinking. So we're not surprised that we have them here today to show something awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool. Now, the thing that we're going to showcase with this demo here is something that is just really, really hard. Basically, the way light works is, can you guys see this? My light is really bright, but basically, light is coming in from the outside through those windows. And of course, this part is lit directly. And the challenge here is that's an area light, and so we have to make sure that the shadows look right. However, that light doesn't stop there. That light bounces around this room, and it illuminates different parts of the scene, depending on how close they are to that particular light. And maybe in the creases and the corners, it's really super dark, but in other places, it's more light, and direct light is completely bright. And so lighting this room using traditional computer graphics lighting is just incredibly hard. And this is the perfect showcase for global illumination. Now they want to use light, of course, to create these incredible moods. And so you feel, you know, a little scared when you walk into a room instead of being completely black, which is not right, or completely lit, which is not right either. And so global illumination has the ability to create an aura, a feeling, a sensation that is really photoreal. And so this has been something that we've been pursuing literally for a long time. This is a 10-year pursuit that we have finally been able to do, global illumination. Let's take it away. So Matt, this is GI on. And so just as I was describing earlier, the light is coming in through the window. It's bouncing around inside. And as a result, we're lighting. Look at that. That corner is darker. That corner over there is completely dark. And that light right above.
Yeah, they are taking a while to reveal the new cards. You're right.
Nicely lit.
They're trying to
exactly what you expected to
do.
They're
trying to show people why they need it. You know,
just put sunlight outside. Super high intensity ambient light. Put it outside, and everything just works. Everything just works. Now you could do it the other way. No, go to direct light. You see this? This is the way computer graphics basically works. Now, of course, we could create a whole bunch more fake lights. We can create a whole bunch more fake lights. But in this room, if you create more fake lights using spotlights, you'll get all these different areas that are lit too intensely and others that are not. And it looks like you basically turned on a whole bunch of lights. Now, what you could do, and what Matt did earlier, is turn on basically an artificial
everything just works.
global illumination light, which is basically a fake ambient light. It's like somebody comes in here, and instead of allowing us to light this room with global illumination, which is happening right now from these monitors, like for example, I'm being lit by the monitor, and you guys are all being lit by this screen, this 4K gigantic, beautiful screen.
They're spending a lot of time with this. I will say that
with indirect lighting. But here, because we can't do indirect lighting back in the past, as in yesterday, we had to put a fake light in here. It's like somebody comes in here and put a fake light and constant intensity, constant color throughout this entire room.
About turning on
As
lights.
a result, the places that should be dark, like back there, isn't dark. The places that should be more bright is the same intensity. Okay, which is what you're looking at now. So this is wrong, and let's look at right. Look at that. Delightful.
I feel like people weren't sure if they were supposed to clap or not right there.
So Matt, our friends are now able to have like creepy monsters literally squatting in the corner.
Yeah. Take a look in the rafters in the ceiling. When RTX is on, they're black. I could hide anything in there. But if I'm lighting it ambiently, you can see everything up there. When we have RTX on, it's correct. There's no light up there, so we can actually hide things in. We can make the mood and the environment perfect by just letting the normal light in the room.
Games will never be the same.
No, sir.
Some people say it looks better with it off.
All right,
oh,
good
man.
job. Thank you.
They're basically trying to point out a lot of little nuances and stuff. They're just trying to explain to people why they need it.
Let's take a look at another exclusive trailer, shall we? Metro.
I think it's because everybody in the crowd knows that they're going to see video cards soon, and they're just waiting and waiting and waiting. Like, we're, what, hour 15 into the presentation, they haven't shown a video card yet, so people are like, where's that video card? This game's coming out the same day as Crackdown and Days Gone, right? Am I thinking right? So I'm curious which one of those three is going to sell better. I feel like Crackdown should be the best selling one because it's been hyped up for as long as it has, but... Although we'll be on Game Pass. Yeah, the card and prices I believe are already on there, but I'm curious what they were gonna talk about and show here on stage, but they're taking a while with it.
Wow.
One
That
guy
is
in the
incredibly
front is
scary.
like
I don't think we have
doubling
enough
over.
arrows. Okay, I'm going to flash through a couple of them, and then in the after show, we're going to show it to you. I want to save time for a whole bunch more stuff. Okay, let me show you. Assetto Corsa Competiziano.
What? What's that?
That's Italian. I spoke 2 languages today already. Okay, when you guys see it later, I want you guys to look at some stuff. Okay, first of all, the reflection on the windshield. You guys know how screen space reflection works.
I say car games already look
If it's
really
not on
good.
the screen, there's no way to take that image and reflect it onto the surface. And as a result, look at the glass on top. You see that car? You see the Ferrari up there? It's reflected on top. All of the rails all the way down are reflected. No errors, no weird banding, no weird distortions. You see this guy reflected.
I didn't even think of that though.
I
I guess
when you go
because
see it, he'll be moving,
of the reflections, like car games will, I guess, have a bit of a leap also, but they've looked good for a while now.
The cars with other cars, the cars over the window, everything is going to be completely dynamic, and nothing had to be tweaked. Ray traced reflections and ray traced inter-reflections. Cars are going to reflect each other. If you look at the railing, the shadows are just rendered beautifully, the soft shadows, because the world is one big area light. And shadow map precisions are just not good enough to go all the way down there. And yet, for ray tracing, it just works. In fact, if you see the final game, the other way, the shadows of the last buildings are completely gone. You're going to see reflections of the toolbox of the garage and the car in the garage. Everything just works. Global illumination just works. Ambient occlusion just works. All of the soft shadows underneath the cars just work. And you can look through the window, and depending on the angle,
yeah, basically they're
of
trying
your
to
view,
explain and
Fresnel
justify the
reflection.
pricing.
So sometimes you see perfect reflection. Sometimes
And at least they're kind of
you see
showing it
through
more of
the
a
car.
games.
Everything just works because ray tracing just works.
The games
You're going to see
case
another
here.
game called Atomic Heart. And this game is just really interesting. And it's got wonderful reflections and refractions. And mirrors are curved. Curved mirrors. Nobody does that. It's impossible. Not for ray tracing. It just works. You get this area light underneath, casting that soft shadow for the robot behind it. Everything is physically based. All the materials are rendered beautifully. And so area lights, reflections of the scene that you can't see in
I'm
the
wondering
scene.
if
So
the next
screen
Xbox
space
and
just doesn't
PlayStation
work.
can use ray
And yet
tracing or
everything
not.
just works here. Well, guys, I want to show you something that's really cool.
And he said they worked
You guys
with
wanna see an amazing
Microsoft
game?
for
I can't wait
DirectX.
for this. This is probably one of my
So,
family's favorite games.
I wonder.
And this is wow.
I guess it's going to depend on if
Guys,
AMD can do it.
I can't wait.
And more people are excited about that than I thought. There are a lot of people who are kind of against Battlefield right now, I see online, but I'm going to play it. I'm excited
I think
for it.
we have with us Jonas and Christian from DICE.
So that's going to have ray tracing
Guys.
in Battlefield as well.
Hello, Jensen. Hello.
Some of the
make up.
brightest, the most amazing computer graphics engineers in the world. We've been working together on implementing RTX into Battlefield 5. Now, you guys, the anticipation of Battlefield 5 is so great, I don't think I need to introduce what is the concept of Battlefield 5. It is a World War II FPS. It is part history, part travel, part time travel, part running for your life, part destruction, real-time destruction. You've never seen destruction like there is destruction. Isn't that right, guys?
Correct.
You guys know destruction.
We do.
You guys know how to blow it up. Okay? There's mayhem, there's chaos. You work as a team, you can battle by yourself. I want to go learn all kinds of stuff about World War II by going through your game. I just want to be a tourist. Turn on God mode and go through as a tourist. So we're going to show you some pretty amazing stuff. Isn't that right, guys?
That's
all
right.
Okay, Jonas, let's go. Take it away.
Yep, Christian.
All right. Thank you, Jensen. Thank you, Nvidia, for hosting such a great show. This is really cool. I'm Christian. I'm a tech director for Engine Group at DICE, and next to me we have Jonas, media and video editor. We're here to show you our implementation, our vision.
Apparently, developers think we'll be crossing the
RTX
uncanny valley next
and we want
generation,
to show
so
that
that'll be interesting.
in our
But
brand new Battlefield 5.
I feel like ray tracing needs to be a part of
And
that. So
in the setting, we'll take a look at our brand new multiplayer map, Rotterdam. And it's a really dense and cool city map. We'll start here in a very zoomed-in view of the soldier's eye. And we're going to observe something that we've never really been able to do before. So we at DICE have worked closely with Nvidia engineers over the past year to get to the point where we are now. And we're so proud and thrilled to be here and show it off to all of you. So, Jonas, I'll leave it to you.
that means these cards have to be launching soon.
So, what you're seeing there is a tank firing off screen, being reflected in the character's eye.
Now, you guys know this is not possible
No.
with screen space reflection, right, Jonas?
Exactly. This is
Because the fire is not on the screen.
So now if we turn around and we then see the environment, we can see that the tank muzzle flash not only reflects in the eye, it reflects in the entire environment in the tram windows there and within the tank itself.
Like, that's pretty neat.
Moving here. So now if we keep moving forward, yeah. That's great. So of course, one of the big challenges of SSR is also complex surfaces like this. So now with RTX on, if we set off an explosion behind the tank here, but next to the car.
I feel like,
oh, come on.
like that's pretty awesome, but I feel like a lot of people are going to turn it off just to get like a higher frame rate if it does like tank frame rate like that.
That's
Like,
impossible.
It's a pretty cool tech demo thing.
How would you do that with RTX off?
Yeah, how does that look? Like this here. So let's, yeah.
Wow, that looks incredible.
And it's, of course, it's updating dynamically, everything.
Reflections will never be the same again. Look at the reflections off the ground, guys. It just.
Yeah, so you can see.
Wow, it just happens.
With SSR, if it's in the screen space, you still get some of the reflections upon the car, but due to the nature of SSR, it disappears as it goes away. But because ray tracing just works, you just get the expected result.
See, that would be cool if you're playing certain games where you're kind of sneaking around it and you can kind of look at the reflection on like a mirror or a wall to see what's going on.
Crocodile
that would be
tank,
cool.
the Churchill,
like around the corner.
And if we make that one shoot, it's flamethrower across the scene here. Then we will again see that reflecting upon the surface and on the soldiers battling it out here in Rotterdam. So now if we look down in the ground with RTX on, we'll see the flame. We'll see the soldiers moving. We'll see everything. And now, if I turn RTX off,
like that's pretty impressive.
Everything. We lose all the detail, all the context of what's happening in the scene. But with RTX on, you just get a much more cohesive image and a better understanding of what's happening around you. So one thing we also pay particularly much attention to in Battlefield is just the weapons. Yeah, accuracy, making sure the smallest detail is correct. You can see even there, the flames are reflecting properly in the wood of this gun here and in the windows in the back. Now, if I turn RTX off again, you lose all this detail. So, yeah.
Wow.
Really cool.
Now, Jonas, what you guys have done is all of your guns, all of the objects are modeled physically.
Exactly.
It's physically based. And so the gun has wood, which is diffused, is a dielectric material. You have metal, which is reflective, and the metal has substructure in it, microstructure in it, so there's some roughness in it. And so without doing anything at all, because it's physically based, we shoot a ray into that scene. It intersects with a triangle on that piece of metal on the site, and it figures out, I need to boink, generate another reflection ray, and it traces its way to the flame, which is coming by, and when it comes by, it accumulates on the surface.
Going to be out, I guess,
all by itself.
either before or around the time
Ladies
of Battlefield and Shadow,
magic of
Tomb
ray
Raider.
tracing.
Exactly. And there's
So they
more.
should be out pretty soon. Like, I saw you can pre-order on their website, but I didn't see a
What
release
you see now
date.
are objects that are really close by, but ray tracing works for more yet. So up here, we've got 2 C-47 airplanes. They've been shot down. They're crashing with their engines on fire.
jeez.
So now if we go over to the car here, and you can also see the flame reflecting in the car nicely over there. So if we keep moving forward and then look down on this reflective car right here, we will still be able to see
All right, that's pretty
the plane. If we move back here, we can see the plane reflecting in the car. If I move this lens flare.
Wow, your lens flare works
Right there,
good.
yeah. And then with RTX off,
I love
lose
it.
everything of it.
Yeah, look at that.
That's pretty cool.
Keep moving forward.
Wow.
So I guess that's just like a scenario where you kind of look down in the ground and see like a reflection
And
of a
Jonas,
plane
you guys did
crashing
a great
above
job with Fresnel reflection. Look when the angle is just right. It's just a perfect mirror. It looks beautiful.
So here it's a good example on transparent surfaces with Fresnel and PBR rendering. The more of an angle you're at, the stronger the reflection gets. And now with what we had before, on these ones were just cube maps, which they're also static. But with ray tracing, you get
Can
a
you
lot
imagine
more
what happens
detail.
when
You
you're
see
in
the
a
entire
room with mirrors and a
environment.
flashbang goes
And
off?
Of course, as I
Relia, that would
said,
probably be ridiculous.
The
You'd
old
probably-
cube maps, they are also static. So say that we were to destroy this building here, make a tank shoot it.
Yeah, I'm going to be curious about their stock. Fortunately, the 2080 Ti might keep its own stock under control with a $1,200 price tag.
And
I'm more
now,
interested in that
to end it all off,
RTX 2070 at
RTX,
600.
I mean, it works on the entire scene. So what if
That's going to be the one that they're going to have a hard time
we were
stocking,
to shoot
I
off
think.
a V1 rocket here and zoom out, get a good view of the entire street of Rotterdam, and then take a look at the windows, all the places that you would expect to reflect. For now, turn up the time again, and we just wait patiently for the V1 to hit the ground. And there.
Wow. That's pretty insane.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Good job, you guys. Good job. That's really great. And it's
a lot.
amazing what you guys did so fast. I know you guys worked super hard, but it's amazing how you guys implemented this stuff so fast. I mean, that's one of the benefits of ray tracing. You know, the benefits of ray tracing is because things are going to behave physically. You should be able to turn things on. If the rest of your system and your models are done properly, you could turn these effects on relatively easily. I mean, it still takes a great deal of great engineering, but comparing to doing it the traditional way of arting everything into existence, the amount of engineering that has to be done is just significantly lower going forward. You know, hopefully, using the laws of physics, when you guys create a scene, things would just look right and behave accordingly. And so this is really just such a great achievement.
So we should be coming up on
things are
the
still falling apart.
on the card reveal
I've never given
soon.
a talk in total destruction before. You guys do destruction great. You're great at destruction. That's a lot of pent-up anger there, sir.
40 minutes in now.
Lots of great destruction.
about right.
Okay, you guys made an amazing trailer. Let's take a look at it.
I think I'm going to get Battlefield over... Like, if I had to get one, I think I'd get Battlefield over Call of Duty. Like, I'm going to get both of them to try them out and go over them and everything, especially after seeing Call of Duty's beta. And their Blackout mode's getting demoed in the first half of September, so we'll check that out. But I think if I had to pick one, I'd go with Battlefield.
Wow, you guys killed it. You guys killed it. Real-time ray tracing, Battlefield 5. And we have a great surprise for you today. Battlefield 5, open beta, September 6th.
They're going to get that out before before Blackout. Interesting.
Guys, congratulations on a great achievement.
Huh.
Yeah, this is really a wonderful achievement. Thank you.
So there you go. We got open beta September 6th.
There are so many other RTX games coming your way. Developers all over the world are working hard on RTXing.
That's pretty cool. What else we got there? I see Control. Okay. Hitman's going to use it. Interesting.
We're going to have all kinds of amazing games coming your way.
Final Fantasy 15.
I guess your question is
that's
this.
going to look good.
What are you going to run it on? What are you going to run all these amazing games on? Well,
oh gosh, Ark is going to use it. Oh no. Ark is the last game I trust trying to incorporate something like RTX into their game. I'm curious if they're going to show the price. AK HDR, very nice. Okay. Oh, he has one. He always does that. It's like walks out on stage and holds it up.
10 years in the making. The GeForce RTX 20 series. Computer graphics reinvented. Isn't that beautiful?
I want to get a look at that chip.
The craftsmanship
I want to get one of those and rip that
unbelievable.
heatsink off.
The craftsmanship is unbelievable. This is the best design we have ever done. Everything from the voltage, the power regulation, and the thermal management system, it is designed for overclocking. Crazy amounts of overclocking. Not to mention, it is just so quiet. Even when you're maximum overclocked. At maximum overclock, it sounds like 1/5 the audio levels as a 1080 Ti. It is so quiet. The engineering is just absolutely incredible. We're announcing 3 models today.
The Ti, the 2080, 2070.
3 models today.
6 gig rated 45. Okay, 8 gig. Okay, so wow, the 2070. I mean, it is kind of far off.
The RTX 2070 with 6 gigabytes per second. 5 times.
That's not bad though if it's only 600
of a Titan X.
Like that's insane.
5 times that of a Titan XP. 45 trillion RTX ops per second. 45.
The 2070 doesn't look that far off from the 2080 though.
Several times the performance of a Titan X. 8 gigabyte frame buffer. RTX 2080, 8 gigabytes per second, 60 trillion RTX ops. About 6 times the performance of a Titan X for ray tracing, 8 gigabytes, and then the RTX 2080 Ti, 10 gigabays. I love gigabays.
That 2070 look is pretty appealing looking. That's if that's 600 like we're seeing on their website, and you can get it for that price.
RTX ops.
Not in like the aftermarket where it's marked up.
Buffer. Starting at $499.
Oh, okay. So wait, the 2070 is $499? Why did it say 600 on their website? That's actually not bad right there. $499 for a 2070.
Pre-orders today.
When does it release though?
On shelf everywhere, September 20th.
Oh, next month. All right, a month from now. I wonder if Best Buy will be getting them too. You guys think I should go? I should probably get a 2070, right?
And here is your Nvidia RTX family. The Nvidia RTX family. The Nvidia RTX family. The Nvidia RTX family. Ladies and gentlemen, soon I'm going to see the Nvidia RTX family.
Oh, nice. Look, the Quattro RTX 8000 is only 20 grand.
RTX family. Quadro 8000. Quadro RTX 8000.
No, 2070 is 500.
Connected by NVLink, turning it into one large virtual GPUs. 96 gigabyte frame buffer. 166 trillion RTX operations. 166. 166.
Okay,
that
so the 2080 for 700 is actually not bad. I'll admit that. That's actually not bad.
$20,000. $20,000.
I need the 2080 Ti.
That is twice the ray tracing performance of a $68,000 DGX station. Twice the performance of a $68,000.
That 2070 for 500 is not bad.
GeForce RTX family. The 2080 Ti from $999. The 2080 from $699, and the 2070 from $499, and the 2070 is higher performance than the $1,200 Titan X.
Wow. That's pretty impressive, right? Wow. That 2070, I'm telling you. That's the one I think a lot of people are going to be interested in. That's a good price.
I want you to look at it this way. Look at this. This is what they look like. The biggest generational leap in the history of computer graphics.
Wow.
Our beloved Pascal, the best GPU the world had ever seen, next to the Turing family. It is a shocking contrast. 10 years in the making. So, ladies and gentlemen, the RTX family. So proud of it. Well, that's our show. The GeForce RTX.
Yeah, that 2070.
RTX,
man, that looks good.
To implement the Nvidia RTX platform, reinventing computer graphics using this hybrid.
I mean, 500 is what the Xbox One X costs, and you get something that has ridiculous performance like a 2070. Ooh, man. What's AMD do now?
Artificial intelligence that was trained using supercomputers. And all of those neurons and all of those weights from all of that experience then sits inside your PC. And it generates images that no possible software
yeah, 2070 is
could do. And it generates beautiful images.
That's pretty impressive.
The Turing, the largest generational leap in the history of our company. The most important new GPU we've created in 10 years.
AMD Navi might be 400 or 550 and undercuts NVIDIA Wishbone. That's not a bad idea.
Basically,
that might be their strategy.
So
after seeing that,
we have to change the way that
undercut on price.
Performance. Because in the future, you're going to ray trace parts of the image, you're going to rasterize parts of the image, you're going to use post-processing on some of the image, and you're going to use artificial intelligence to generate all kinds of pixels that are impossible to generate otherwise. And the GeForce 20, the GeForce RTX 20 series, starting at $499,
Phew, man.
Available everywhere on September 20th. What do you guys think?
Yeah, let's see if Best Buy is getting those in. I know they'll definitely stock that 2070 model because they stock 1080s, but interesting.
Okay, I have one more surprise for you. The guys did something. Well, everything is real time. It's physically based. All the materials are modeled properly. Reflections just work. Inner reflections just work. The lighting just works. Ambient occlusion just works. Area lights just
They already are starting to make
Have I told you that before?
games mostly for them with the ray
Lighting,
tracing.
reflections, shadows, it just works. Everything could be dynamic, no cooking necessary, no art necessary. Just turn on the lights. Enormous amount of computer graphics capability. Kicks
Agent
in
Quato says it's
and
worth
draws the rest of it.
to pre-order this $499 card when I plan to build a PC around December.
All completely in real time.
I think the
Ladies and
2070 is
gentlemen,
going to be the
have a
harder
great
one to
Gamescom.
find.
It's been a pleasure.
I think the
being with you.
2070 is going to
This
be the
a
one that sells
historic
out
moment.
fast.
Computer graphics has been reinvented.
So
Thank
maybe
you very much.
it might be worth pre-ordering, to be honest. But I would also recommend waiting for the benchmarks to come out. Okay, I would definitely recommend that. Like, wait to see what the benchmarks are to see if what Nvidia is showing us is correct. Because sometimes they like to fudge some of their graphs. So. You should be seeing some benchmarks and stuff before it comes out. So you should start seeing, I don't know when the embargo is for them, but usually it's like a week, 2 weeks before it comes out. So mid-September, you should at least have a good look at benchmarks and everything beforehand. I guess that's their presentation. I don't know what they're doing. Oh. Okay. That's the other question is going to be when they start overclocking that 2070, where exactly it'll be with the 2080. That's going to be a serious question, so I'm going to be looking at that as well. Yeah, I would just keep an eye on those benchmarks. Yeah, the 2080 is sold out. A lot of these things are going to sell it on Nvidia's site because they'll try to resell them in the aftermarket. But places like Micro Center, Best Buy, Fry's, these are all places that should get them on day one as well. So keep an eye on that too. Mute that. The ending was a good show. I mean, they did a lot to explain it because they had to try to justify what was happening pricing-wise because it was ray tracing. They had to try to put ray tracing over. The video cards they showed looked good. They were actually less than I thought they were by about $100 each, right? The 2070 at $500 is so far at least, seems like an outstanding deal. We're going to have to see benchmarks, which we should get about 1 to 2 weeks prior to their launch, September 20th. But that 2070 looks good. $500 is not bad for that, considering we have things like the Xbox One X coming out at that price. And my big question now is, will the Xbox 2 and the PlayStation 5 be able to do stuff like that? Because it seems like that's going to be a big push for next generation. Is that because you can clearly see the difference? I'm going to be curious if AMD can somehow work something similar into their next systems with the Xbox 2 and the PS5. AMD is up against it right now. I don't know how they come back with that unless they do have their own ray tracing thing figured out and they call it something different, or maybe they just call it ray tracing. I don't know. I don't know if that's a coined thing by Nvidia. It might be. We'll see. We'll see. No, the 2070 should be $499 is what they announced it here. So, yes. And then the Battlefield 5 beta was also announced here, and it's coming September 6th is the open beta. September 4th is early access, probably for pre-orders maybe. So, look for that as well. No benchmarks with graphs and frame rates currently. We'll have to wait to see if people there might even be able to test it. They might do that, like behind closed doors. And then they'll have an embargo, obviously. So we'll see. But this is going to be very interesting. Now I'm very interested to see how Microsoft and Sony would respond to this if they're using AMD. Maybe they want ray tracing, right? And maybe that's something AMD needs to figure out. So we'll find out. You guys will have to let me know about that. I guess they're going to keep going with after show or something, but I've seen all I really wanted to see here. And that's a stream, guys. We ended up being on here a little longer than I thought it would take. I will say that we've been here 2.5 hours, I think, right? Something like that. Yeah, 2 hours, 40 minutes. So it was a longer stream, but will not require. That's going to be another question. Switch to PC if it requires a different type benchmark, they're going to probably turn ray tracing off and just see what the brute force power is against the 1080 and everything like that. And then of course they won't be able to do ray tracing on with the older video cards, but they can do it on with the newer ones and see where they all kind of stack up with ray tracing. But we'll see. I think these video cards will be able to run Shenmue Remastered. I have a feeling. But cool. Yeah, the AMD Jaguar looks like a potato. It's looked like the potato for a little while now. But cool. That was I guess that was our show. They would have to get ray tracing into a mobile chipset, and that probably won't be for a little while. So Nvidia will have to figure all that out for anything Switch related to do ray tracing. We still got to figure out how the next Xbox, and the next PlayStation can do ray tracing, and those plug into the wall. So that's Morphe's Law is out now. Cool. I have a code. I'll download it and check it out, and I'll probably have a video later on for that as well. And then I have a lot of stuff to go over in news videos coming up, because there's just a lot of stuff dropping right now, with Shadows Die Twice getting a release date in March, Hat in Time getting announced, and just all kinds of stuff. So the 2070 looks good, but I mean, if you can go for it, get the 2080 and 2080 Ti. So cool, guys. That's our show though. Thanks for tuning in. It was a lot of fun. And I'll see you guys we're probably gonna have a couple more videos. I did the Shenmue 1 and 2 remastered video, just showing off the gameplay. Check out Dreamcast Guy's review though, because he's very knowledgeable with the series and very passionate about it. He did a good video as well. And then we had the news video from earlier this morning talking about those weird Switch Pro rumors for 2019 and some other stuff as well. Splatoon 2 getting anti-cheat, and of course, if you're new, make sure you guys subscribe. We're coming up on the 35,000 subscriber mark, 135,000 subscriber mark, which is awesome. So thanks to everyone who's subscribing for that. And that'll do it, guys. I'll see you, like I said, in a video later on today. We'll take a look at that Morphe's Law video game and everything. And I'll see you guys